I certainly am. I think Kieran's just getting sorted. Yeah, Kieran's going to be a couple of minutes, but I'm ready to go. I can feed us in or whatever. Well, a good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this SlipStream broadcast powered by Alpha Live broadcast for the afternoon running here at Wilton Mill Kart Club. We're going to head straight into the action for the Senior Rotax finals. Oliver Smith and Victor Hansen on row 1, followed by William Webb, Harry Freeman on the second row, Callum Sims and Vinnie Jones completing row 3. Moving on to row 4, James Tester, Jugas Pravalonis, followed by Ollie Ortu and DeJorn Bennett. Then we have Will Forber and Miles Robbie on row 6. Then we have Freddie Leppenwell, Jacob Smith, Ruben Mamalok and Kieran Edson on row 8. Then we have Michael Dalton and Ethan Martin completing row 9. It's Parsha Tamashvant and Dylan Norris, followed by Ryan Hedge and Dexter Collins, Ellis Beattie and Molly Griffiths completing the 12th row of the grid. Final couple of rows, it's Noosh Safa Leathers, Arminas Zabaruskas and Dalton Norris, and that completes our 14 rows as we do have a false start. So drivers were getting formed up, not quite able to get going that time around, so we're going to have another opportunity to get formed up once again, which gives me a chance to welcome you all back to the action here at Wilton Mill, or maybe welcome if you're just jumping in for the first time today. This is of course the SlipStream Pass holders only section part of the broadcast for today. It will go out later in 7 days' time for those who don't have a SlipStream Pass. But a big thank you and welcome for showing your support. I am Reeve. Alongside me is Kieran Mogg. He'll be joining very shortly. But thank you very much for being a SlipStream Pass holder, showing that support and jumping in on the action for the finals today. You get to see the finals live, of course, from round 5 of Wilton Mill Kart Club. We jump right in with the Senior Rotax Max finals. So they are forming up once again as they run down towards the tram lines. We'd had a false start last time around, so something that the stewards were not quite happy with on that formation. They're hoping for a cleaner run this time. If they head down the tram lines, are we going to get that? I think we should be all right as we do go green to go racing once again. Smith versus Hansen into that first corner. First final of the day. The points are won here. So it's all to play for, especially as we head into round 5. The championship begins to take shape, of course. So this is going to be our first truly competitive race of the day to dictate how the championship is going to be looking heading into the 6th round here at Wilton Mill Kart Club. We focus on the number 27 of James Tester at the moment, under pressure from Pravalonis, running through the back straight as they now barrel their way down towards the boot here. All pretty calm for the time being. A couple of moves being made here, or the nice big field obviously for our Senior Rotaxes out on track. Race leaders heading through the oblivion now. Smith versus Webb is still the story as we start the next lap of this race. Smith with a nice turn at pace there, dipping into the 46 as he starts to get into that rhythm and get the race started. Webb making a position up on Hansen from the race start there. So Webb with a nice good progression, nice bit of momentum behind him, might be able to make up a few places. Should note, if you've been tuned in so far today, that the finals 12 minutes instead of the previous 10. Instead of the previous 8, so a little bit of a longer format race, so a bit more to play with in terms of overtaking opportunities, a bit more to think about out on track.
Yes, indeed. Obviously, these drivers have already been out a couple of times today, and this one will be slightly more tricky because everyone's going to be, right, it's the last one of the day now. They can go pedal to the metal, they can go absolutely all out, and Yeah, by the end of this race, it should be something really something we can look back on.
Yeah, absolutely should. Smith, Webb, Hansen had great results in the senior max running so far today, and they're hoping to continue that on. They're in a prime place to do so. They just need to make sure that they keep their noses clean for the next 10 minutes.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, obviously, it is a big grid. We've spoken a couple of times about that today so far. And it's so easy to get sort of caught up and trip over one another. And this is the one race that you can't do that in. Because if you do, there is no coming back from it. There is no additional race later on where you can try and make up the position. So it's pretty difficult. Not over Smith at the moment. I mean, look at the gap he's got. He's just maintaining it back to William Webb and Victor Hansen. So they're doing really well for the time being. But, you know, we can kind of assume that towards the end of the race, one or two of them will start to come together and make things a bit more interesting.
Absolutely. I'm really keen to see what William Webb will do. As it looks like this is a continued battle between involving Pravalonis there. I think it is. Pravalonis seems to be eager to go for those overtakes today. Miles Roby, the 1-2-4, also on the scene there. But from William Webb's point of view, he's one of those drivers we've discussed where his championship rivals not necessarily present today. So great opportunity to get a few points in the bag and get yourself on a better footing for the final part of the season while they're not there. He's currently in second in this race, and will we see him just be happy with that second, or do we think now's the opportunity, got to get that race win in? It's very close, and their pace is identical. I mean, 46.11 on that previous lap for Smith, 46.12 for Webb. They're really close, nice and competitive. He just needs that little bit extra if he wants to put himself on the best foot forward.
No, exactly. And to be honest, with Webb, it's because his championship rivals aren't actually here, it does make more sense to not go for that position, because like the potential repercussions of going for that position and it going wrong are far greater than if he just stayed there and the difference between that first and second place. So with your kind of thinking cap on, yeah, you'd stay there. I mean, he's a racing driver, so he might not, that he just would think someone's in front of me, I don't want someone in front of me, basically. But, you know, it is what it is. We've also obviously got some people joining in the chat as well, so thank you very much for joining this Slipstream. Obviously, this is the finals. This is ones that only Slipstream Pass members, holders can watch. So please do enjoy it. It should be a really good couple of races that we've got coming up in this afternoon.
It should indeed, and you're all well versed, I'm sure, in the perks of being a Slipstream Pass holder, so thank you for giving us that support. You'll also get access to some extra bonus content. There might be a little bit of a paddock walk, etc. here or there, maybe pictures of mustaches, all sorts of things. In case you are jumping in on the finals action today, once it's all said and done, do go back and watch the heats. There'll be some interesting musings there, and some great racing as well. Of course, that's the primary draw. Yes. The primary draw being the great racing.
Yes, absolutely.
And the mustache.
there was, if you're not aware of what's happened earlier, don't worry about it. It's not even worth mentioning. It's just
the more you say it's not worth mentioning, the more me and Luke want it to be mentioned.
Yeah, anyway, let's focus on this instead, because we've got some karts close together. This is the 89 of William Webb. So, like I said earlier, you know, these karts are going to start closing up to one another. And now that Oliver Smith has just completely driven off a little bit, it's now at a point where William Webb is looking a little bit vulnerable to Victor Hansen and Harry Freeman. So, again, what we were saying is, like, you know, how hard does he defend here?
Yeah.
Like, how much is that second place worth to him when his championship rivals are not here? Like, look at the long term. Is it better to have better race position, potentially, not even a guarantee on that, or is it better to have a better championship position? You know, everyone would argue championship position, and I'd imagine Victor Hansen would go, yeah, championship position. That's where you want to be. You don't want to think about race position.
let me through.
Yeah, let me through, and then let me have race position. So, yeah, it's a tricky one, and William Webb, I'm glad I'm not in his shoes right now.
No, certainly he's got a very tall ask, and I think if I were in his shoes, and I'm definitely not, because I've not got the driving ability of William Webb, I think the position he's got himself in now, where he shouldn't be, you know, going for brash moves to go for that race lead, that's kind of got away now. but he's got an opportunity to put on a bit of a defence here with the final 5 minutes of this race. I think that's kind of that's an all right position to be in. I mean, he's got a lot of work out in front of him, but you can have a bit of fun on the defence, but still try and cling on to a podium and be happy that you've got that podium in the bag when your championship rivals haven't. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but you can just see from the attitudes of Hansen and Freeman's carts that they're
eager.
They're eager, exactly. That's the best word for it. Yeah, obviously Oliver Smith is just gapping them at the moment. He's just set another fastest lap. Oh no, he didn't. Sorry, previous lap before he set a fastest lap at a 45.7. His last lap was a 45.8, and only Victor Hansen has even touched the 45 so far this race. Both William Webb and Harry Freeman are both in the 46s. Victor Hansen had managed to reach a 45.96 last lap around. They were a couple of tenths slower. So slowly, very carefully, Oliver Smith is just eking out this gap for the lead. And so as I come along the start-finish again this time around, let's have a look at what that gap was. It's now 2.52, and actually Victor Hansen has got past. He's now into second position. So William Webb still on the podium, but he's still got a couple of hard charges behind him.
He certainly does. Plenty of hard charges going on throughout the pack, likes of Will Forber, who we enjoyed multiple races with in the morning and in the heat. Gained 3 positions so far. Kyle Dickens makes up 5 positions, but I think given that it's a final, I think everyone's been quite well contained, and I think they're well aware of the point at which we are in the championship. In that there's only a few more races to go, and let's not let things slip away now.
Yes, absolutely, and yeah, they are being tamed, but I think the key word there is so far.
Yes, there are 3 minutes to go.
Exactly, and in racing that is a lifetime. So we can expect basically anything to happen. Like Murray Walker always said, anything can happen, and in racing it normally does, or usually does. I think it was the actual word he used. But William Webb has not given up on that second position just yet, because he's actually built a little bit of a gap between himself and Freeman behind, and he's sticking on that back bumper of Hansen very, very well. So he's not out of this just yet, but I think Oliver Smith is just on another planet this race. He's just driven away. He's caught it at the perfect scenario where William Webb doesn't want to do anything too stupid for his championship hopes, and because he was in second place, he's like, well, I can just drive away here. It's ideal for Oliver Smith, this, and so as long as he doesn't put a foot wrong, then he is, he should come home with that trophy at the end of the day. But as for the second 2 positions on the podium, that is still completely up for grabs.
It is absolutely swap around, obviously, for Hansen and Webb. Webb, as I said, still clinging on to that podium, has put up a really good defence so far. When you've got such a large train of cars behind you, it's a really tricky job to keep them behind. Not that I've ever been able to achieve that. It's not possible to have a train of cars behind you from where I am, unless I'm being lapped.
So it is possible.
Yeah, I guess so.
But no, it is definitely a difficult situation to be in, and drivers always say that they prefer being the chaser rather than the chased, and it is because having that pressure of a load of people behind you is far more difficult when there isn't somebody in front of you to follow and kind of see what they're doing. And having someone in front of you, ironically, is almost a safety net.
Yes.
Because you can use them to kind of slipstream you up. But speaking of safety net, William Webb is now under threat from Finley Jones. And speaking of, up the inside, I believe, went Finley Jones there. So side by side, down through the left-hander into Osiers, the 186. That hang on, no, we're looking at a different pack. We must be. Yes, we're looking at a different pack. I keep getting confused. 188. So that's further down the grid. So we're looking at 12th place.
Yeah, 188 Pravalonis, who
yes.
we saw getting pretty excited at the start of this race. He seemed quite eager to get a few overtakes, and was having a good bit of fun out there. He's currently up into 11th, so has made good progress on that previous lap. Did start 8th, so he's actually on a bit of a recovery. We missed any early lap misfortunes.
Yes, he did. There was some side-by-side there between Victor Hansen and William Webb. William Webb is back into second place, so that was a very opportune move from Webb. Got into Ashby, hard on the brakes, chucked it to the right-hand side, up the inside, and got that second place back. So Victor Hansen now is staring at the back of that number 89, for the, I don't even know how many laps he's been behind him now, consecutive, like total, this race, but he's probably not going to be very happy to see the back of it again, especially as that gap to Oliver Smith is just increasing by the second. We've probably got 2 laps remaining in this race. Smith is up nearly 4 seconds in the lead. Webb is now just a couple of kart lengths ahead of Victor Hansen, so it's still up for grabs, this second place, and potentially, if they trip over one another, that third place could potentially go the way of Finley Jones or Harry Freeman, depending on how the last couple of laps go. But here they are, coming down into the lead for the penultimate time.
Really impressive stuff from Smith. I mean, goes to show just how close the racing's been all day. This is the most comfortable race lead that we've seen so far. We've so far run 15 heats as we got cars off. That is the number 76, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, number 76 there of... I can't catch who that was, but we'll see in a moment on the timing system. What a shame that the race comes to a premature end. I think it might have been Kyle Dickens. Potentially makes up 4 places from race start. We'll have confirmation of that in just a moment. Yeah, it was Kyle Dickens. Yes. Tumbles down. What a shame for Kyle. Made some good progress. That has been undone. But we are on the final lap of this race, and we're seeing them heading through Ogiers and now the William Webb, Hansen, Jones, Freeman, Sims quintet. I think that was 5 cars.
Yeah.
But either way, here is Oliver Smith, pretty much uncontested throughout much of this race, and a well-deserved celebration there of proper secure race victory. Webb brings it home in P2 to boost his championship hopes, followed by Victor Hansen completing the podium.
Absolutely fantastic drive there from Oliver Smith. He did everything he needed to do. It was clean, it was methodical, and he had a lonely race, let's put it that way, but that was exactly what he needed to do, and he got the win overall. William Webb managed to keep on to that second place, so that is fantastic for his championship hope. So a great job done by every single driver there. So that is the senior Rotax complete for the day, sort of, because the senior Rotax 177 kart and the X30 Senior are coming up next. So, the Senior Rotax are just heading off circuit now. We've got the X30 Senior and the Rotax 177s coming up next. It was an interesting one earlier on because it's one of the smaller grids, but we've seen them produce some fantastic racing. We have. We discussed it early on that the opportunities that having that more condensed grid gives you can often make for a great race. And we've had such a variety of a large number of karts, and then also races like what we may have coming up next. And even in just the heats, they made for great racing. So now that we've got a finals and there's a bit more on the line, this is definitely going to be one to watch, folks. Looking forward to it. Yeah, 100%. From that first race, it was kind of like, okay, this final should be interesting. I hope they don't let me down now, but it should be a really interesting race because they're so similarly matched to each other's pace, isn't it? Like they're so in tune with how quick each other is, and also what their sort of advantages, disadvantages might be in any given scenario. And Wilton Mill, it's a technical little track. It's tricky. It's not easy at all. It's not easy to pass, but there are plenty of passing opportunities. So there's plenty of possibilities for all of these drivers to make some good progress. And honestly, I couldn't even guess at what the finishing order might come out as. Yeah, that's the other benefit as well, is that if you've only got a certain number of karts, all of a sudden, 3 overtakes are done, and that's a kart from the back of the pack. Whereas, in other races you might not have had that. So looking forward to seeing that. I'm also seeing some more Kieran content in the WhatsApp. What? That's well worth it. Enjoy that one. The plushie is my particular favourite. There's a plushie? There's a whole range of Kieran Mogg merchandise that is being planned in the background here. So do drop us a message in the broadcast chat, folks, if you would like some Kieran Mogg merchandise. No. I've not seen this. Good news is that the carts are heading out on track now. Let's focus on that instead. Surely it can't go any further than that. We can put the mustache gate to bed.
12 minutes once again for this final. Again, we've got some of the likes of Bailey Brooker, Oliver Meek, Finley Allen, Archie Forber, names that we saw before, heading back out on track. So it's Oliver Meek, Archie Heron, Finley Allen, Bailey Brooker, Laith Khan and Archie Forber completing the first 3 rows of the grid. Then we have Jensen Buckingham, Daniel Kehayov, Oliver Keenan, Isabel Banks, Herman Wright and Ella Rowe completing the next 3 rows. Then we have Mark Hennings completing row 7, 13 carts heading out on track for our senior X30 and Rotax 177 action.
Indeed. Well, they are in formation for hopefully their final time today. So they come around the boot, obviously take that old circuit layout just on this initial formation. Everyone is in a line, everyone is good. So here we go, in the tram lines. Are we racing? Yes, lights are out, away we go. Into the straightaway goes Oliver Meek from Finley Allen, and they go now up towards Christmas Corner. Is he going to defend straight away? Yes, he is. He's gone to the right hand side of the circuit straight away. Around the outside there is that Laith Khan trying to make a move. He can't quite make it stick. Now a bit of contact there. I think that was with Archie Heron onto the grass, but I think he's just about to survive for the time being. Oliver Meek still leads the pack.
Brilliant stuff there from Khan and Heron going for that front row. There's 13 or 12 minutes still to play for in this race, but they want it done on lap 1. Archie Heron, we look at in P3 at the moment. The top 2 maybe just breaking away ever so slightly as Khan has a look going down the inside as they approach the boot. Nothing to be done just yet.
Not at all. It looks quite tight, obviously, in the middle pack here, but it's also looking quite tight at 3rd place. So let's see as they come over the line. Let's have a look. Oliver Meek, followed by Finley Allen, followed by Archie Heron, Jensen Buckingham, Bailey Brooker, Laith Khan. Laith Khan has had a bit of an issue there on that first lap. He's dropped down into 6th place. That's not exactly what he wanted, but look how close they still are. It's still anyone's game. But Oliver Meek, for the time being, is doing exactly what he needs to do. He's starting to build that gap ahead of Finley Allen. And now, if you look behind Finley Allen, he has got a absolute raging pack of carts from Archie Heron, Buckingham, Brooker and Khan, trying to take that position off him. That very recognisable white suit with the bright fluorescent helmet of Finley Allen. He stands out like a sore thumb, but you can kind of tell exactly which one he is. On the inside there, he tries to go to Archie Heron, but he can't quite make it stick through the chicane and around for another lap.
Buckingham on the scene as well as Brooker now as well. A huge pack, as you say, of carts beginning to form up. Meek could capitalise on this if he can, but I think Allen is just doing enough work to kind of keep everyone else in check there as well. So it's not going to be a comfortable victory, at least for the first half of this race.
Not at all, and if, in fact, on that last lap, Finley Allen actually closed up to Oliver Meek, so I'm guessing obviously they're starting to work together now. That gap that Oliver Meek had is diminishing. I mean, look, it's basically gone already into Ogiers and onto the back straight now. Let's have a quick look. How are they looking? Is anybody going to try and make a move into here? It would be unwise to. I think the gaps are a bit too wide for the time being. Going to stay in the train for now, just following it through the boot, through the hill on the chicane, and on to the start-finish straight. So let's have a look at the gap over the lap. Yes, so there we go. So he gained another sort of couple of tenths of another couple of hundredths of a second. Laith Khan with the quickest lap of the race. On that previous lap, Oliver Meek, Finley Allen, Heron, Buckingham, and Brooker were all separated, and to fair, even Laith Khan were all separated by about 0.2 of a second. So they are very, very similarly matched. But you can also see as well that the front three are starting to pull away with this as, I think that's Laith Khan goes up the inside of Bailey Brooker to take, hang on. I'm getting confused. No, Buckingham has dropped down, sorry. So, Brooker has gone ahead of Buckingham now, with Laith Khan already ahead. So there's a bit of a shift up on that previous lap. But now Laith Khan has been released to try and go after the top 3 drivers up towards Christmas once again.
Yep, we go around once more. Plenty of change going on in that mid-pack action. Meanwhile, in the background, Ella Rowe made up 3 positions from the start of this race. She's having a lovely time out here in this final, up into the top 10.
Indeed, and we've also got someone in the comments. Come on, Ella, from Susan Blenkinsop. So right on cue there. She was doing fantastically well. Well done. So great to see the support for the drivers in the chat. So thank you very much for taking part through the boot once again now. And yeah, these drivers are just kind of keeping it tame at the moment. Now, obviously, we saw in the heats It's the middle sort of, 2 or 3 minutes where everyone kind of settles down. With the finals being a bit longer, they take a little bit more time, especially with a more compact grid like this. They get a little bit more time, but I can kind of assume that by the 3 minute, 2 minute to go mark, that's when we'll start to see some proper action starting to happen. And obviously Laith Khan is starting to close in on these front couple of drivers as well. So he's going to want to be ready as soon as it's time to go to attack them.
Absolutely. We have seen some brilliant run through the pack from Laith so far today. At the moment, settled in P5, but we've still got 7.5 minutes. It's a slightly different dynamic, this race, compared to the heats. You've got a longer format, and as you rightly pointed out, usually we tend to see the action build right towards the end. That extra kind of 3 minutes that they don't usually have in the heats in the morning, they use that to their advantage, use that as opportunity to really go for it if it hasn't quite gone their way so far.
Indeed. You can see there, Laith Khan is already starting to look a little bit under pressure from Buckingham as well. He's looking a little bit vulnerable now as we come down into Ashley. Is Buckingham going to make any sort of move? No. And to be fair, Laith Khan didn't go to defend, so he's fairly confident he's not going to do anything for the time being.
Full course yellow has been waved, so I imagine that will just be a case of a stricken cart or a bit of...
a couple of carts up near the boot as well. So they've obviously come into contact with each other. It's Ella Rowe and Daniel Kieran, I believe, are the two carts involved. And they're both out of the cart, so that's great to see. Here we go. There we go. So it is the number 14 of Ella Rowe and the 77 of Daniel Kierhoff. So yes. Unfortunately, we didn't see what happened there. Big shame for their races to come to a conclusion like this. There is a potential they might be able to get back out on track if the carts aren't damaged. So hopefully, fingers crossed for them, they can get back underway. Yeah,
at least get a bit of running in and a couple more laps under their belt. But this is going to be an interesting change in rhythm for this race now, because that full course yellow, it's going to compact that field right back up. Any kind of little gaps that had been brought back up will have been compacted. Now, the field was already quite close already, but the other thing that it will do is it's going to add the pressure of the restart, basically. When it waves green once again, it's going to be down to the likes of Oliver Meek to hit the ground running, really, and not lose out any momentum compared to their rivals, not put themselves on the back foot.
And also got to think about the tyres, because the tyres are going to be cooling down a little bit during this period. And you just saw Finney Allen there just weaving around trying to keep the temperature in. And so you obviously want to keep the temperature there, but you don't want to overdo it. And so it's a very fine margin of operation these tyres operate within. And so if you overdo it, then you're going to be vulnerable. If you underdo it, you're vulnerable. So it's quite tricky to try and kind of get it exactly right. But these drivers, you know, they're very experienced, they know what they're doing, so in theory it should be okay. But that's another thing they've got to think about in this period, as it looks like I think the bumpers of the two cars have actually come together, which is why we've got the full course yellow, while the mechanics try and actually separate the two. Because
not as easy as it looks.
It's definitely not.
They're not light things, those guys. I mean,
they're really not.
No, I mean, they're lighter than a lot of for example, arrive and drive carts,
yes.
But they're not light at all. And when they're kind of wedged together like that, that's going to be a bit of bodywork, maybe the axles as well, maybe, you know, all sorts of stuff could be kind of intertwined. That's going to be a tricky one to undo that.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, we've got a couple of laps still with the drivers going around, and we've got a 5-second penalty for Isabel Banks. Now, I don't know what the reason for that is. I've just seen it come up on my timer screen. I
can only assume it might be related to some type of procedure thing with the full course yellow, perhaps, would be my guess, given the timing. What we have elected to do, I think, is treat those carts as one now.
They identify as a single cart.
Yeah. If anyone remembers the old We Races One initiative, it has had a rebirth today at the Wilton Kart Club. Those two carts have become twin engine.
Yes, indeed. Well, you do get twin engine carts.
Yes.
They're normally, you know, facing in the same direction as each other.
Any old viewers of Top Gear will remember.
I was just about to say James May's limo. Yes. Exactly.
We got that going on, so maybe we could have a new class at the end of the day. And that could be our commentators race that we mentioned earlier on.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
You do the steering.
Yeah.
Someone does the engine from the other side.
What can possibly go wrong? Oh dear, yeah, we may want to leave the camera operators out there then if we're going to do that later. Well, yeah, you may want to keep an eye on this, because we're going to This is not going to go well. Anyway, back to the race, as I think we're just about good to get underway again. So as they come around the final corner, they know the carts have been cleared now. So are we racing again? Yes, we are. So here we go. Finley Allen is right on the back bumper. You can see Oliver Meek has not managed to get away from the number 18 there. On the inside, Oliver Meek's gone wide, and that's allowed Finley Allen to get right alongside him. And also Archie Heron as well. So Oliver Meek has gone from first down to fifth, and now sixth. That is disastrous for Oliver Meek. He was just a little bit too wide coming through Oblivion, and that has completely thrown out the rule book for his race.
That is the thing with these race restarts. The pressure builds. You've got so much to do. And even though it was already a close pack before we went under yellows, that extra dynamic of restarting the race has completely blown it, as we say, for Meek. What a shame. Just you can tell the frustration. You can feel it from here. Really, what a shame for Meek. I'm sure thoughts there in the cart are not all that happy. Allen, new race leader. Heron and Brooker complete the provisional podium. Still have plenty of laps to go in this race. The back end kicks out for Allen. That costs him some time, cost them some track position there as well. As Heron goes on through, and I think actually Allen's quite lucky that didn't end up much worse.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Leif Khan has just made a move there on Bailey Brooker. So Leif Khan is now into third position, I believe he is. 70, yes, he is. So 78 now into third position. So that's a fantastic, opportune move there from Leif Khan. But yeah, I mean, Finley Allen, he just had a bit of a kick out. And Archie Heron, very late lunge up into Christmas corner to take that position away. But now, as we said before, the hunter becomes the hunted. Finley Allen now is stuck to the back of a different cast. This time it says number 59 on the back of it, but unfortunately he's got the 78 of Leif Khan right behind him, so he needs to be very, very vigilant. In the meantime, Oliver Meek, I believe, has just made a position, so he's back up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th place now. Up the inside there goes Leif Khan, so Leif Khan is now making his moves. He is into second place, he wants that win, and Archie Heron is next in his sights.
He is indeed. Buckingham might be the next driver to try and find a way past Allen as well. Allen, with that remarkable lightning reaction from the race restart, doesn't seem quite have been able to continue that momentum into the final few moments of this race. Now it might be 3 blue cards taking us through towards the end of this race, and in with the shout of a podium. Got Daniel Kayov under investigation potential. We're not too sure what that's about, but he's further down the order anyway. I think was involved in that incident a few minutes ago. All looking relatively calm this time around as we head into Christmas corner. All in single file, no one going for a bit of a swapper, no one going for any moves down the inside. 30 seconds left on the clock. Heron and Khan control things now. Allen has clung on to third position, and if anything, Meek might be on a bit of a redemption arc here now. Fancies his chances of finding a way past Jensen Buckingham, just as Buckingham looked keen to get past Finley. Through the boot we will go. And there is Oliver Meek. Now I imagine it could be a race where we see a few overtakes from Oliver now as he attempts to cling back his podium. Hasn't got long to try and do that. Or it could be a race where bad goes to worse. We'll have to see how it goes.
Indeed, yeah, you can see that Oliver Meek, though, was looking very, very racy. But speaking of racing, look at how close Leif Khan is. Archie Heron is aware of this. He's gone straight defensive to the middle of the track. Leif Khan goes to the left-hand side. See there that Oliver Meek is trying to make any position that he can, but no, Jensen Buckingham has made the position in his car particularly well. He's kept to the middle of the track as he was trying to also overtake Finley Allen, which hasn't. But look how close they all are together now. This could potentially go one way or another for everyone. But Oliver Meek now up into 4th position. He's gaining those positions. Up the inside goes Leif Khan into the lead of the race with 1 lap remaining. Back on the inside, tries to go Archie Heron, but he can't quite do it. He's now on the outside, and through goes Jensen Buckingham. No, that's not. Sorry, that's Archie Heron. He went into 2nd position briefly. No, it was Buckingham into 2nd position. Buckingham is now on the back of Leif Khan. It is basically a 2-horse race. Look at the gap they've got backwards. Leif Khan goes straight defensive. Buckingham tries to and get around him, but he can't do anything at the moment. Oliver Meek is still trying to make his way up back onto the podium, but he can't. You can see Archie Heron goes straight defensive into Ashby, but no, he's positioning his car perfectly. Back up at the front. Leif Khan is doing everything he can now into Ogiers, onto the back straight. Can he do anything? Can Buckingham send one last move up? I don't think he can. I don't think he's close enough. Oliver Meek might be able to, though. Into the last couple of corners. Can any moves be made? I think that's it. I think we're good. Leif Khan comes around the last corner and he takes the final win.
My, oh my, what a drive from our top-end competitors there. Jensen Buckingham taking second in the end ahead of Heron. Meek climbs his way back up to fourth. Finley Allen, the lead driver who initially broke Oliver Meek's fortunes at the restart of this race, and finishes behind Oliver there. What a drive from the top end there. It all got very exciting indeed, particularly as we headed through the boot and the chicane there, where we saw side-by-side action through the chicane, which we haven't had so far. What a race, what a way to finish out the X30 Senior and Max 177 action for the running today. Commiserations to LRO and Kahayov there, who had that earlier race incident there at the side of the track. I think their cart's having a bit of a once-over, as obviously they're in that recovery position now. But what a race. That
was absolutely fantastic. It just goes to show, like, anything can still happen. I mean, Laith Khan, he started in fourth position. Sorry, started in fifth position, sorry, and gained 4 places. Jensen Buckingham started in 7th and gained 5 positions. So the top 3 on the grid, I mean, only one of them ended up in the top 3 in the end, which was Archie Heron. He started in 2nd, dropped 1 position to 3rd. So that was absolutely astonishing racing from all of them. Obviously, Oliver Meek, not exactly how he wanted the race to go. He was controlling it very, very well. But yeah, just got a little bit wide on that restart through Oblivion, and then that was just, you know, floodgates opened and everyone came through. So he did well to get past a couple of people, especially in that busy, busy pack. But I mean, a great showing from all the drivers, and that's why they're the seniors. That's why they've got the most experience, and they know how to pull off those moves and race fairly in a way that everyone kind of gets out of it at the other end. But you kind of sat there just going, how on earth did it end up like that? Because that was incredible.
It certainly was. That is going to be the end of our X30 Senior and 177 action. We're going to kick off with the next, in fact, the first final for our Junior Max drivers as well. It's going to be our Junior Max B final. So then our Junior Rotax X30 B final coming up in just a moment. 2 finals for this category because it is such a well-attended division. We're going to have a B final followed by an A final, which will actually round out our afternoon. So this is our 18th heat of the day, 18th race event of the day, if you will. Our 3rd final as well. Thank you all for tuning in, SlipStream Pass holders. We'll have X30 Juniors, Rotax Inters, Honda Cadets, Rotax Cadets, and then our Junior Max A final. But it's the B final first, as I say. Lily Shaw and Karthik Kometa complete row 1, followed by Joseph Baxter and Harley King. Then it's Lasha Yordanov and Alexander Stefanov. Moving on to the 4th row, it's Oliver Dawson, Sangreen Gomez, followed by Christian Kayov and then Leonardo Pelagi. Then we have Louis Marshall and Ollie Healy. Row 7 features Henry Robinson, Luis Alfonso Gomez, followed by Adam Ascar. 15 carts then for this B final today. We'll get a glimpse of them. There they are in the pit lane, getting ready to go racing once more. So I gave a brief overview there of what I can expect from the final half of this day. And at least one thing we can expect, I think, is some decent weather now, finally. We popped out during the lunch break and it was gorgeous sunshine, which made a nice change. I think it's somewhat abated now. We've got a bit of a grey, overcast skies once again, which might be keeping temperatures quite nice and pleasant, especially if you're driving in these carts. We discussed earlier on in the morning, you know, it's a really physical thing to be competing in these sessions, driving these carts, particularly when you've got a fire protected race suit on as well. It can be very toasty indeed. And looking back to round 3 when I was commentating, it was a 33-degree day in May. That was a little bit tricky in terms of the weather. So I think overall, even though the morning was a little bit dim, we got some decent racing conditions now. Drivers heading out on track then for their formation lap. This will be 10 minutes for these Junior Max finals. That is something that I should note for the B final. At least it is going to be 10 minutes plus a lap. Ever so slightly shorter than what we've had from our first finals of the day, but a little bit longer still than the initial morning heats. So they will be getting formed up again. We'll obviously make sure that everyone is happy that their carts are safe and ready to go. Happy that they're in the right places, in the correct places to go racing after the order is settled from this morning's heats. Big thank you if you're just jumping in to the action. 10 minutes left to go until, sorry, 10 minutes until the checkered flag in this one, because we're about to get going underway very shortly. Shaw versus Commentator on the front row of the grid. The 58 versus the 95. It's going to be Shaw on the outside run that flew through oblivion there. Keen to see how that shapes up as we head through Christmas. We are going already. The revs rise and we navigate our way down the tram lines. Shaw with a great start there, dashing their way down towards Christmas. Now we can see it's a number 58 of Lily Shaw. At the back end on Joseph Baxter's car, kicks out there in fact, and nearly loses, but does well to correct it. Down towards Ashbury's we go. Slightly more compacted grid for this one, and through goes Baxter there with a small gap. Sees an opportunity and takes briefly the race lead, but as we head down towards Ogiers, Lily Shaw says thank you very much, I'm taking that one back. So now we focus on the number 95 of Karthik Commentator with a great race start, at least trying to recover from a good starting position. In this one, as we head through the boot now, the chicane to negotiate before we complete that lap, all in single file, although in our previous final we did see a few drivers exploring some other strategies for attacking that corner. It's Commentator in P3 as we watch the rest of the pack navigate their way through oblivion. Bit of a gap begins to form up already from the top three to the rest of the pack. Plenty of drivers exploring just how deep they can get on the brakes. Of course, the cart's only braked on one axle. Certainly no ABS system involved as well. So if you stamp on those brakes, the cart will get unbalanced. You can use that to your advantage, but if you're not careful enough, you will find yourself rotating the wrong way around. These drivers know what they're doing though, and can keep it pointing in the right direction. There we have the number 33 of Baxter as we head through Ogiers, getting the position and taking the race lead. If anything, you could argue that Shaw, the likes of Shaw and Baxter now somewhat under pressure from Commentator, Yordanov, Dawson, etc. as they navigate the final corner once more. Looking over the shoulder is Yordanov actually, because Harley King is on a decent charge at the moment. Christian Kiev all the way down in 11th, fastest kart in the field so far, so it just goes to show very competitive field here at Wilton Mill Kart Club. Baxter then once again into Christmas, deep on those brakes, kicks the back end of the kart out. He gains style points for it, of course, but clearly it's something he's enjoying doing out on track in terms of getting that kart rotated in to the right-hander. We look slightly further back off the lead of the race. This is the number 101 and number 58 of Lily Shaw and Yordanov. Lily losing a couple of positions at the start of this lap then. And we head back towards looking at Yordanov. Contact warnings coming in for Adam Askar at the back end of the pack. Started 15th, remains in 15th, but is only 6 seconds off the lead of this race. This is something myself and Kieran have talked about so far in today's racing, that these compacted, slightly more condensed grids do offer something unique in a sense that, you know, you can have a field spread quite a bit shorter, quite a bit smaller than perhaps some of the other rounds that we have on today. 7 minutes left to go of this 10-minute race as we make our way down through Ogiers once again. Onto the back straight once more we go. Joseph Baxter beginning to build up a fairly comfortable race lead. I say comfortable, he is bringing Karthik Commentator with him as well. But we look at the mid-pack now making their way through the boot, through the chicane, and onto that start-finish straight. A couple more contact warnings pouring in. These final rounds of the day are a little bit more hotly contested, shall we say. You know, points are on the table now and are to play for. So junior final, of course. So we're looking at the likes of Tom Reed, Rappany and Southern in the A final later on today. It is going to be the drivers who are vying for that championship. Of course, got round 6, 7, 8, and then some of our extra winter running as well after round 5 here today. As we go on board with the number 59 of Leonardo Pelagi, novice driver that's with the black plate there, doing a remarkable job so far. Seems to be having a good time out there. The number started 10th on the grid, up into 7th is number 59. So having a great day out here so far. Approaching halfway distance in this race already. They do absolutely fly by here at Wilton Mill. Is a nice quick track in various parts, of course. That run for Oblivion in particular is a nice nice high-speed section. I'm going to try and see if anyone in the SlipStream broadcast is saying anything, and I've lost connection on the broadcast chat, so apologies, folks, if you are saying anything, maybe pointing out anything vaguely obvious to me that I've somewhat missed. I appear to have lost connection to you lovely SlipStream Pass holders, at least on my personal device. Don't worry, I'm sure you can all still see what's going on track here at Wilton Mill, the number 88, meanwhile, of Harley King's the driver that we now look at. Sangram Gomez putting that pressure on, has worked way through the field quite nicely as Gomez. 4 places gained so far as we go on board with Louis Marshall, gets ahead of Pelagi and is now keeping Pelagi company. Actually, there's a bit of a switchback going on here. That's Stefan Arnov now, keeping Pelagi company as we run through Christmas once more. And back towards the number 88 of Harley King. Thrashby we go. I've mentioned a couple of times today, I do love this angle here. You get a really good sense for what the drivers are doing under braking into Ashby, because you've got that slight downhill turn, so you can see the straight all the way down into that right-hander, which can be a little bit deceptive in terms of being an available overtaking opportunity, in terms of how much track space that you have to play with. Still staying with Harley King then at the moment, started 4th, remains 4th, and you can't ask much more than that as a racing driver, really can you, as you head through that final corner once more. Still seeing a huge train of cars, pretty much. I mean, there's a few breaks in the pack, but overall, we're all staying fairly competitive with each other. Louis Marshall's on a charge at the moment. It is the driver that we are seeing in shot at the moment. 47.86, fastest lap of the race so far. 5 seconds off the rest of the pack. And making their way down through Ashby once again. So as I say, championship-wise, not too many drivers are expected to be seen in the B final. We're going to be looking towards that A final later on, and there is an opportunity for drivers to recharge up on through. So that just adds a little bit to play for if you are the likes of Joseph Baxter and Kartik Kameta. Speaking of Baxter, just takes the new fastest lap of the race so far, 47.78. As we head for Oblivion once more, that is the number 42 of Louis Marshall there, keeping pressure on Lily Shaw. Really nice running for Louis Marshall at this phase of the race. Started 11th on the grid, now up in the 2-7th position, so making good inroads, also bringing some friendly competition along as well. That's not just a 2-horse race there, developing. 3 minutes left to go out of this 10-minute race. Now Joseph Baxter still maintains our fastest lap of the race and has now begun to break away from Kartik Kameta, which hasn't quite been able to do in the first phase of this race. So we'll be looking to see if he can keep that up, or whether Kameta has got anything in the arsenal late on in this race. Looking at the number 122 there of Kayov, heading through Oblivion. We now focus on Ashby once again. Seeing a nice bit of rotation there of the green. Didn't quite catch the number on that green cart there, sorry, not sure if it's one that we've looked at so far today, but seen plenty of drivers getting really eager to get these carts turned in. We go back on board with this Louis Marshall and Lily Shaw scrap. Lily Shaw, of course, vying for position at the top end of the order early on in this race, now settling for a fight with Louis Marshall, so we're going to follow them as we head on to the start-finish straight, staying close together, pretty not quite bumper to bumper, but getting so close to it as they run through Oblivion, benefiting as much as they can from that slipstream is Louis Marshall. Will we have a move down the inside? Nothing to be had just yet. We're going to go aboard with the number 88 of Harley King instead, as we follow them through Ashby now. There is the number 58 of Lily Shaw still in charge at the moment. Marshall, in terms of their pace, let's compare them ever so slightly faster. Around about a tenth a lap quicker is Marshall than Shaw. Now that might not seem like the world's biggest delta, but in terms of racing times on paper, that can make a bit of a difference as we go on board with the number 33 of Joseph Baxter. He's having a grand old time out at the front end of the pack, although Kameta seemingly closing in at this phase of the race. 1.2 seconds with just a few laps to go. Anything could happen. We've certainly seen crazier things happen. Just look back to the previous final round there, where we saw the fortunes of Meek completely transformed. looking back onto Ashby's, then I'm really keen to see what's going on in that short marshal battle. There just seems to be, we talked about it earlier on in today's racing, just that kind of gamesmanship that goes on. They're not side by side, elbows out, but they're just seemingly, keeping that pressure on each other, almost playing cat and mouse with each other as they head onto that back straight now. Sam Green-Gomez is now going to be a potential kind of thorn in their side, as it appears to be that the pace is just a little bit more influenced towards Shaw and Marshall, a couple of tenths quicker of those two drivers at this phase of the race. So we might start to see a bit of kind of, not traffic negotiation, but you know where I'm getting at, basically, in terms of what Shaw and Marshall might be looking to do, and whether that will benefit the likes of Marshall or Shaw, we'll have to wait and see as they head through Christmas now. All staying in a comfortable single file, trying to avoid that curb too much. We've seen what can happen if you ride up on that curb and upset the kart with a spin at an unfortunate point on the track. And I think everyone playing it fairly safely for the time being, although, must be said, Shaw seemed late on the brakes there, trying to find a way on through Sam Green-Gomez. I'm sure probably thinking, come on, Sam, let us through. We can work together in some way, shape or form. Maybe that's what they're thinking with Marshall, though. It's anyone's game. The timer does indeed hit 0. We have now started the final lap of this race, as we have Louis Marshall keeping that pressure on Lily Shaw's. That has been the case for a good couple of laps now. Final lap then underway, as I say. And the top three, this three is really where all the action is to be had at the moment. We have a run down the inside there for Lily Shaw, sees an opportunity to get past Sam Green-Gomez and goes for it. Works well for Lily Shaw. Louis Marshall not able to get through that time around. The typical run down the inside through Christmas works wonderfully for the number 58 there. And Lily Shaw now in with a shout of a top 5 finish here. Trying to see. Green-Gomez started 8th on the grid, by the way, so still a really good finish for Sam. But we focus on the number 33 of Joseph Baxter, a comfortable race lead of a few kart lengths in the end to take the checkered flag here for our first Junior Max final of the day. Our B final, of course. A final actually comes up later on with Kaki Kometa, who comes home second. Latchi Yordanov comes home P3. Just a bit of a quiet race really for Latchi, but a happy one, I'm sure, nonetheless. Rounds out with a podium. Then we have Harley King, Lily Shaw, Green-Gomez and Marshall. That settles that battle that we focused on in the second half of that race. Leo Pelagi, Alexander Stevanov, Oliver Dawson, Christian Kaov, Ollie Healy, Louis Afonso, Gomez, Adam Ascar and Henry Robinson completing this 15 kart race. Congratulations to the podium sitters there and everyone for, I think, a thoroughly enjoyable race overall. Everyone with their nice respectful racing there. That brings a brief end though to the Junior Max action. We are going to see those drivers later on. That'll be our final race of the day, our final of the day, if you will, for the A final later on. Coming up next, though, it's the X30 Juniors. Junior X30s will be out on track in a few moments and probably occupying the paddock. I'd love to say hello to you, but I'll do a general one then. If I can't see the broadcast chat. Hello to everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a SlipStream Pass member. It does mean a hell of a lot in terms of showing your support to ourselves, in terms of showing your support to grassroots karting as well, and we do hope you choose to continue to stay with us. We'll take a look at the grids for this one in just a moment. It will be Max Mason and Nathaniel Hodges on row 1, followed by Finley Hines and Logan Lauder on row 2. Then we have Harry Watson and Brandon Edwards on the 3rd row of the grid. Then it's Ethan Windsor and Charlie Blenkinsop completing this grid. 8 karts, 4 rows for our Junior X30 finals. Nice compact grid, but these Junior X30s, these X30 Juniors, I loved seeing them out on the track before. Karts make a great noise, I think, and we saw that nice condensed feel, which is something we've mentioned a few times now, providing us with some brilliant racing action. Drivers already in karts and looking pretty poised, pretty eager to go. Probably quite happy how things are set up at this point. Obviously, we discussed earlier on, in owner karting, you're going to be making slight tweaks to the karts here or there, making sure everything's tip-top condition. 2 heats in the morning should mean that, especially after a lunch break, this is kind of the final evolved form of the day, if you will. This is the final chance. This is the final evolution, obviously, of these karts as they head out on track for today. I'll be very keen to see if what Kieran mentioned before, anyone setting up the kart up more for the wet or the dry, has had any effect, although we have had mostly dry running, so I can't imagine too much to play for there. Should be a relatively quick grid to get formed up here today, of course, because only 8 karts for this round, so we should see them getting ready to go racing imminently as they navigate their way down the back straight. Yellow flag's been waved, of course, as this is formation. There'll be gestures from the marshals, I suspect, as well, to make sure that everyone is in the correct state to go racing. And through the boot they go. They don't use the new layout, so the new layout that is used during racing conditions. They use the old layout, navigating the long way around the outside of the course there, just because it would be a little bit trickier to get these karts through that chicane under formation conditions, and you wouldn't have that many during racing usually. So they're all tightly packed, heading down the tram lines. The smoke billows, and we go racing once more. It is our X30 Juniors, and it is green flag action. 12 minutes of racing to go. Max Mason leads the charge ahead of Finley Hines, who's putting that pressure on. Kaz a look around the outside into Christmas. The back end kicks out. That brings Nathaniel Hodges in onto the scene, but doesn't quite get the run out, does Hodges, that perhaps he would have wanted. So it's going to be Hines versus Mason as we head into Ashby. All nicely held off. There is the pressure by Max Mason. Through Ogiers we go now. The top three all in quick succession. Hodges right back up on that action there. Meanwhile, Harry Watson, Logan Lauder and Brandon Edwards seem to be controlling a secondary pack for the rest of the competitors. Through the boot we go already. Nice and quick are these karts, of course, certainly when I'm not driving them. Not that I've ever going to get anywhere near driving these karts as we head on to the start-finish straight. Mason, Hines and Hodges absolutely controlling this one then, and Mason keeping that pressure at bay. As we have a look down the inside there, Throm, Hodges saw a gap and went for it. Beautiful stuff from the number 93 into Christmas we go. Bit of curb there for Max Mason as well as he runs down toward Ashby, and it's all looking pretty settled at the moment. Down towards Ogiers we'll go in just a moment. Max Mason can probably rest a little bit easier knowing that there's a bit of squabbling going on behind him between Hines and Hodges as they head up towards the back straight in just a moment. Lauder and Edwards have managed to gain an advantage over Harry Watson, who seems to have tumbled back ever so slightly, and they are settling quite nicely into that upper midfield action, or rather midfield action, given the numbers we have. Mason and Hodges then. Hodges with that brilliant move into Christmas before. Now seems to have his sights set on Max Mason. Does Nathaniel as we head down towards Christmas once again. Will he repeat that move? Well, I think Max Mason appears to be wise, so it has that kart in a bit more of a defensive position to fend off Nathaniel for the time being.
Yes, indeed. It's yeah, we've got used to seeing these guys up at the front at the moment, haven't we? They're always pretty tough with each other, but so far seems to be all good. Obviously, like we saw in the previous race, we can expect it to kind of get a little bit more spicy towards the end of the race. For now, Max Mason is just holding that gap as it stands, and Nathaniel Hodges doesn't look like he's too eager to make any silly moves. He's just keeping on the wheel tracks, looking at the back of that kart, and just making sure that he is ready to pounce should Max Mason make any sort of mistake. For the time being, but they're all pretty solid.
Yeah, I'd say so. We saw that lovely move that I think that kind of set the tone for Hodges' race, really. He feels eager, feels capable of winning this race quite clearly, and just waiting for that to happen. Now, we're only 3 minutes in for this 12 minutes final here, and Max Mason will have his work out, I think, as we head further in to this race. You say, I think you should heat up, and they're already looking pretty high on the temperature scale, it must be said, because less than a kart length separates them now as they run through the chicane. Nice bit of rotation for Max Mason there, and a bit of curb for Hodges as well.
I don't think that was intentional, to be honest. I think he took a little bit too much speed, tried to correct it, and obviously Nathaniel Hodges is right on him now. So here we go, looking up towards the Christmas corner. Up the inside he goes. Can he do it? Yes, he can, but he has a bit of a kick of oversteer as he tries to get on the brakes, but just about. Nathaniel Hodges, he takes lead away now from Max Mason. Mason wants it back, though. He tries to go a little bit on the attack down towards Ashby. He can't do anything for the time being as they now get towards the top of the hill, coming down towards Ogiers, and look, they've brought in Finley Hines in the 157. It's now a trio. What was Max Mason in the lead is now what was Max Mason in the lead is now Nathaniel Hodges, followed by Max Mason, followed very close by Finley Hines up the inside now. So Max Mason's gone from first to third in one lap, and that has also now brought in the 33 of Logan Lauder. This has completely changed it. We've still got 8 minutes left of this race.
I'm very pleased by that fact, because this is brilliant stuff. Hodges, as I said, they seem to have that momentum behind them, and now finds himself pretty comfortable, at least for the time being. Max Mason I think we can expect a resurgence at some point, you know, just because a couple of positions have been lost. These guys have that racing driver mentality, should be able to pick up the pieces and continue on.
Yes, indeed. You can see there just how closely Max Mason is following Finley Hines there. He just wants to let him go anywhere, and he can't blame him really at all. But all while this is happening, Nathaniel Hodges has just started to build a gap. It was half a second as we crossed the line last time around. Let's have a look at this time. So here we go. Crosses the line now, and it is now 0.63. So he's gained just a little bit under a tenth of a second, basically. So it's not much, but it's a little bit of a gain, which is what he needs. But you can see there that Max Mason has absolutely no interest in trying to overtake Finley Hines at this point in the race. He's stuck right to the rear bumper of Finley Hines going on towards Christmas. He has the perfect opportunity to do it, and he didn't. They need to try and close that gap to Hodges up in front. So while they're doing this, Logan Lauder is just watching the back of these, hoping to try and capitalise on any mistake. But for the time being, he can't seem to get that close to them. He dropped off a little bit, obviously, early on. He's back sort of in the fight now, and so he's in a position so that if anything does happen, he is there for it. But ideally, he probably wants to be a little bit closer. Speaking of closer, you can't really get much closer than these two. Look how close they are. He's going to try and do anything. Yes, there we go, up the inside. Max Mason goes back into second place ahead of Finley Hines. So Finley Hines is now in third position as they now have to try and chase down Nathaniel Hodges, who is 3/4 of a second up the road now.
Hopefully this will be a case of these two drivers working alongside each other and Max saying, right, I've got back in front now, I will lead the charge and we'll close up to the race leader, and then we'll fight for the race lead after the fact, because if they're starting to quarrel with each other, they're just going to cost themselves time against a quite clearly feisty Hodges at the top end of this race. There we have confirmation, yeah, so Max Mason flying along, new fastest lap of the race so far, his fastest lap of course, and we're getting ever so close to that 45.9 region almost. It's only a couple of tenths off that, and that was in the midst of battle as well with an overtake to boot, so impressive stuff there as we have a look slightly further down the order.
There we go. Either wins it. It was trying to have a quick look up the inside of Charlie Blenkinsop, but it couldn't quite make it work as we go down into Ashby now. Still having a bit of a look, but yeah, he can't quite do anything. You can see his kart's a little bit skatey as well, so he's obviously trying to push it as hard as he possibly can, but yeah, it's not quite as stuck as some of the other karts that we've seen are, but he's fighting. Look how much he's fighting the wheel as well. He's really having to work very, very hard to try and keep on the back of the 27 of Blenkinsop. So as they come through the boot now, you can see there that Windsor he lost a little bit of speed on the entry there. So whether he took a little bit too shallow of a line going into the entrance of the boot, I don't know. But he's caught right back up now as he goes through Oblivion up towards Christmas Corner. Is he close enough to make a move? I don't think he's close enough. No, so he's going to stick in the wheel tracks for now.
Yeah, that's what they're opting to do. But as you say, a couple of cars do seem, really kind of eager to rotate in this one in particular. We saw Max Mason using it as much as possible to his advantage in the first phase of this race. So clearly, drivers absolutely on the limit here today. It's of course the final race for our junior X30s. So you can see why they're going for everything that they can at this point.
Absolutely, and speaking of going for everything that you can, Max Mason just taken another fastest lap, and he's now half a second behind Nathaniel Hodges up at the front. He was about just over a tenth of a second quicker than Hodges as well, so it's still all to play for at the front. But speaking of third place, well, look at this for third place. Logan Lauder is now right on the back of Finley Hines. So Finley Hines, who was at one point trying to vie for the lead of this race, is now almost looking like he might be overtaken for fourth place.
Yeah, and this is an important one for the championship as well. Hines, the only competitor out of that leading group in this championship present in this race. So he'll be hoping to at least try and retain this current position, never mind no longer fighting for the lead and trying to gain the opportunities that he can, whilst his rivals might not be here today. An important one for the championship. Indeed,
yeah. And like I was speaking about in the previous race, like, what does he do at this point? Like, does he... Yeah, does he kind of go, right, well, championship's a bit more important than this, so obviously I'm going to try and defend, but if he goes for something silly, I'm just going to back out of it, and that's probably the mindset he's going to think about at this point in the season. It's a tricky one to kind of come to terms with, because naturally, as a racing driver, you want to fight, but sometimes you need to be, a bit more logical than that, and yeah. But for the time being, he's keeping on to third place. You can see Logan Lauder is just starting to build the pressure a little bit. He's looking left, right and centre into each corner. Speaking of, another fastest lap, a 46 dead for Max Mason at the front of the field. He's now just under 0.3 of a second behind Nathaniel Hodges, and so we can kind of expect at pretty much any point now that some sort of battling will take place.
Can indeed read that phase where things begin to heat up. Any final decisive moves are to be made. No room for indecisive moves, that is for sure. The margins forever are so fine, and the standard of the racing has been so good so far today. We have a look then at Hodges under pressure from Mason. This is what this race is effectively building up towards. These are the moments that it's been boiling down to now as we head through Oblivion. Gap just ever so slightly expands, a bit more confidence in the lead cart there to carry that high speed through the corners, and in to Christmas we go. Not looking for any brash rotation, it's all just smooth sailing for these drivers so far. And this seems to be just a very well-played race by Hodges today. I
think so. That previous lap there actually banged on the same time as each other.
Yes,
both on a 46.21. So that just goes to show how consistent these guys are. Coming onto the back straight now, but look how close they are. You can see Max Mason, he's just trying to have a look at the inside, but no, not quite. He backs out of it. Nathaniel Hodges keeps lead for the time being. I think he's almost playing mind games with Hodges now. It's almost like, right, we've got just over a minute left of time. You see there, Hodges is just starting to push a little bit. He went a little bit wide on the exit there. Let's see how he does. Through Oblivion, through the right-hander, a little bit wide as well, but for the time being, Max Mason is behind him. Up to Christmas corner, does he defend? No, he doesn't. Max Mason stays behind for the time being. So let's go down to Ashby. Are we going to see any moves just yet? Here we go, up the inside. Nice, clean and simple for Max Mason. He takes lead back from Nathaniel Hodges. Now, Nathaniel Hodges is going to stick on the back bumper again and just see if he can kind of unnerve Max Mason into a mistake. But from what we've seen from Max Mason so far, it's going to be difficult. Side by side, into the entrance to the boot. Can Hodges do anything? He's put Mason on a compromised line. He's tried to go back up the inside, but he can't quite find the gap just yet. Mason is completely defending for his life. We've got 2 laps remaining of this race. Into Oblivion for the penultimate time. Back up towards Christmas corner. Look how close he is. Side by side almost towards Christmas corner. He's gone so defensive. Side by side in the braking zone. Tries to go around the outside, but no, he slots him back behind the number 71. Down towards Ashby. It's anyone's game.
This is remarkable from these 2 drivers. Max Mason, after controlling it, just after lane waiting, he didn't let the overtakes get the better of him, and now he's on the defence once again. Hodges looking to find a way around the outside throws as we go. Anything to be had here? Not just yet. Still looking over the shoulder is Mason. Near enough, side by side into the boot we go. And it's going to be single file from here, surely. We're not going to see anything brash through the chicane. The final corner to negotiate. It becomes a drag race once more. And there we go, looking over the shoulder ever so briefly, but nothing to be had just yet through Oblivion. Now we have the right-hander. And we can see just how much speed they're trying to push through. They're going as wide as they dare, having a brief glance, potentially side by side. Around the outside at Christmas. No, there's going to be a slight touch there, but no harm, no foul. And up towards Ashby we go once again. They are attached by the hip, pretty much. Front axle to rear axle there through Ashby, and it's all looking pretty settled for a moment. It's been a cart length for a little while, pretty much there or thereabouts over the last lap or so, and now it will be as we run towards the back straight once again.
Yes, indeed. You can see there he's quite skittish. He's looking behind him at every kind of chance he can get. Can he get up the inside at all? No, I think that is it. I think that is decided. Here we go. Max Mason comes around the final corner and he takes that win. What a drive by Max Mason. And the gap as well, because they were fighting so hard. Back to Finley Hines, who ended up third. That closed down by about a second on that last lap. So that just goes to show just how much they were fighting. Finley Hines in third, Logan Lauder in fourth, Brandon Edwards in fifth, Harry Watson in sixth, Ethan Windsor in seventh, and Charlie Blenkinsop comes home in the 8th position. Right, it's time to go. Indeed, absolute amazing. Oh, that is interesting. That is a side pod from someone. That is not brilliant placement.
It is not, and I wonder if, because of the likes of that, I think it might be time to pan to maybe a bit of nose cone camera to see
Andrew Mather's favourite activity in the world.
Just to see who might have had a slightly stricken cart, shall we say.
Yes, indeed. Right, let's have a look. So,
Bit of
Nathaniel
communication
Hodges
there,
is
back
fine.
to the number 93 though.
Yeah, Mason's good. Hines is good. Aha, there we go.
Oh,
Logan Lauder, he doesn't have a side pod. So that's a good point. Director in our ear. Will he make weight? Obviously, it doesn't weigh a lot, but it will make a difference.
yeah, these drivers want to be at
Minimum.
or on the margin, don't they? It's it's precious time. All the grams count. It's not just in Formula One. It's in every division,
Exactly.
down all the way through. So that could make for some interesting reading potentially. Obviously, the results that we kind of shout at the race end on broadcast are effectively provisional. We don't have the full ins and outs from the Clarkson course from the guys in the background. So you can head to Alpha Race Hub and see the results after the fact for guaranteed kind of finishes. But that's it for our Junior X30 final. Up next, it's going to be our Rotax Instance.
Right, here we go. It is the Rotax Inter final. These drivers have put on a show for us already today, so we're going to try and fly through this gigantic grid as quickly as we can. Here we go. James Roots and Noah Wicklow on the front row, followed by Eddie Duncan, Dean Singh Bahal, Otis Clearly and Josh Cook. Then we've got Lewis Herbertson and Will Eden, Rio Pariantu, Flynn Grantham, followed by Charlie Heffer and Marley Fisher. Then Logan Rolfe and Edison Burrows, followed by James Carver and Charlie Page, Seiki Komatsu and Noah Hobson. Then Henry Algarve and Elliot Berg, with Preston Howard and Lenny Dorrington, with Thomas Laidler and George Whitman. Then Ethan Coupland and Roshan Backlader, Santiago Simone and Jake Hansford, Billy Gromit and Eli Romalu. Then Harry Carthy and Mohammed Umar Abdeen at the back. Here we go. So karts are in position, and before we do this, right, keep an eye on this. Logan Rolfe, 14th this time. So we've seen him gain 23 positions in the last race alone. Here we go, into the tram lines. Are we going racing this time? So look at the lights are out. We are racing. Straight into the lead goes the 1-3-3 of James Roots. He goes a little bit wide, trying to defend his position as Noah Wicklow is in second position, is side by side though with the 57 of Eddie Duncan. Eddie Duncan up into second place. Dean Singh Mahal is in there as well, and they've completely changed around position. That is not the start that Noah Wicklow wanted. So we go down into Ashby for the first time.
Yep, still hotly contested throughout the rest of the pack. No more of those single file runs that we've had between the past couple of races. This is going to be very frenetic at the first part of this race. I love the gestures there, telling drivers to power on through.
Yes, absolutely. They kind of go, right, we need to work together as well. But, you know, right, just drivers, remember, you're still side by side at this point in the race. It's still the first lap, so you can't work together just yet. But look at that shot. The amount of karts over that curb is simply fantastic. Our camera operator, Cammie Sturch, down there as well. So fantastic job, Cammie. Through Oblivion for the second time of asking. A little bit wide for some of the drivers, but they're going up towards Christmas Corner. You can see there that Otis Clearly is up into second place. Eddie Duncan into third. Dean Singh Bahal has stayed in fourth position for the time being. So a little bit of a shift around for a couple of people. Massive moves though for Noah Wicklow and Otis Clearly. Those are your two big movers in the top group. But speaking of big movers, where has Logan Rolfe gone? He's gone up 3 positions already into 10th place. Remember that name. Keep an eye on him. Josh Cook still down in 6th place as well. So we've got a couple of big names dotted throughout the top 10. Anybody's game at this point. 53 there of Noah Wicklow trying to make his move on the 1-2-1 of Dean Singh Bahal. But Dean Singh Bahal is making their car as wide as humanly possible. That is Sergio Perez, Minister of Mexican Defense, kind of defending there.
Brilliant stuff there. Bahal obviously previous successes and continuing those on today. You mentioned watch out for Logan Rolfe. We mentioned it briefly earlier on. This is first round of the season. What a way to kick off proceedings and continue on back on fine form.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously, regular seat time helps in these championships. It just goes to show that if you're as gifted as Logan Rolfe clearly is, there he is making another couple of moves. You don't need as much track time as perhaps some other people, but yeah, he's obviously coming through the field still. Let's have a look as they come down. Ooh, good move there from Josh Cook. Back up the inside. I think that was... I didn't quite catch who it was. Here we go. So, Josh Cook up the inside of Will Ean, I think it was. Logan Rolfe now up into 8th place. So he's joined now the back part of this front group, really. So he's going to be trying to sort of slipstream his way back into the podium positions and see what he can do from there. Front two are starting to sort of drive away a little bit, with Eddie Duncan kind of starting to be the gatekeeper of this gigantic train that's been followed through this top 10 pack at the moment. There is the 1-2-1 of Ding Singh Bahal, currently following. Actually, I'll tell you what, Eddie Duncan's close right up on Otis Clearly. Clearly had a fantastic start to the race. Up the inside there goes the 153 of Noah Wicklow, I think that is. Oh, no, sorry, Lewis Herbertson.
Yeah.
Herbertson up the inside there of Flynn Grantham, and Logan Rolfe is right from the back of them as well. He's waiting for these guys to get completely caught up on each other so he can just go, "Right, thank you very much, I'll take those two positions," without any effort at all.
Yeah, plenty of slipstreaming, and these drivers hoping for a slipstream pass, which they can have for just a couple of pounds a month, really. But nice, clear race lead then for Root out in the front end. Why, thank you.
Well done, yes. Yes.
Glad that one in the back burner for longer than I'd like to admit.
That was very, very good. I'm sure our director, Luke Austin, will very much approve of that. But now, up the inside there goes the 50... hang on, who's that? I'm trying to get my bearings here. Right, we've got the 153 of Lewis Herbertson, followed by the 175 of Josh Cook and 144 Charlie Page. That's why I thought Logan Rolfe was in this pack. Still, no, he's already got past them, so ignore him. He's flying. He's close to Noah Wicklow already. Here is the pack from 2nd place to 3rd, 4th, 5th place. So 4 carts together at the moment. Here's the cart that's just behind them as well. So this is then 6th place back. But yeah, this 2nd place train is possibly going to be the most dicey one of them all. Now, don't forget, Logan Rolfe is in 6th place at the moment. He is about a second and a bit behind this pack. We can imagine, we've seen Logan Rolfe close up bigger gaps than this, so we can imagine he's going to get that gap closed down pretty quickly. 7 minutes remaining as we come over the line once again. Clearly is still holding off Duncan, Bahal and Wicklow for the time being. But look how close it is there between Wicklow and Bahal. Wicklow he's probably realised Logan Rolfe is now behind him. Logan Rolfe was just at the fastest lap at a 49.27. For reference, that is about a 10th and a half quicker than Noah Wicklow. It is 2/10 quicker than Dean Singh Bahal. It is 3/10 quicker than Eddie Duncan, 3/10 quicker than Otis Clearly, and it is about 400ths quicker than James Root. Wow. Logan Rolfe is currently the quickest driver on circuit, and he's closing up on this pack that you've currently got on your screens. 6 minutes remaining in this race. It is still anyone's game.
It absolutely is. So what a turnaround of a race weekend for Logan Rolfe, from disqualification up to these tremendous stories that we've thoroughly enjoyed watching along. As we can see, this is the 4-cart pack now making their way down towards Ashby. They just get so close, and oh dear, we're going to go 3 wide, potentially at least 2 wide with the 1-2-2 of Clearly there. Just about clinging on, didn't lose as many positions as I thought perhaps could have been the case, but Duncan now leads that charge. Yeah,
he did. I think he made the move either just into Christmas or just coming out of Christmas. But yeah, Clearly has dropped down into 3rd place now, but he's bit in the wars now in a sandwich between Eddie Duncan and Noah Wicklow. Dean Singh Bahal has also dropped to 5th place now in all of that as well, so that's not ideal. But you can see there, look at this pack come along now. Logan Rolfe is officially part of the pack. He is now part of this race. Look at them, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carts all trying to vie for this position. And Eddie Duncan is the gatekeeper currently. He swings the middle of the track. He's kicking his kart out as he stamps on the brake into Ashby. But somehow he keeps it pointing in the correct direction, and he keeps Otis clearly behind, except he doesn't, because Otis clearly goes up the inside in to the bottom of Otis, now coming into the boot. Look at this go! No, Eddie Duncan goes wide. He goes across the grass. That's allowed. I think that's Dancing Mahal up into third position. That's disastrous there for Eddie Duncan. That's not what he needed at all. Dancing Mahal up into third. Logan Rolfe into fourth position now. What is happening?
This race is unfolding into something completely different now. Oh dear, Eddie Duncan, commiserations. Just goes to show when you got such a closely contested pack. One mistake, that's it, race over. But it continues on for others. Clearly Pahal and Rolfe promoted up a position as a result of that. Wicklow loses out slightly in that incident as well, but clearly maintains P2 in the end. Pahal up to P3, and as you say, Logan Rolfe now 9 places up from his race start.
Yeah, it's very, very impressive. And don't forget, obviously, yes, okay, he made up 23 positions in the last race. I think it was about 17 or 18 positions the one before that. The higher up the grid you go, the more difficult it is. So you can see there that Dean Singh Bahal had to completely jump out of that potential overtake on Otis clearly. That now puts them completely in the firing line of the drivers behind. Logan Rolfe has jumped up into third position now. Logan Rolfe is on the podium, and guess who's got in his sights? It's the 1-2-2. It's Otis clearly now, but you can see Dean Singh Bahal trying to defend against Noah Wicklow, who's trying to defend against Lewis Pete Herbertson, who's trying to defend against Finn Grantham. This is still not over. 3 minutes remaining. This is going down to the wire.
It absolutely is, and comparatively, there's 3 minutes. There's still all to play for. There's quite a few laps still to be had here. Roots, fastest lap of the race. He's checked out, enjoying his time out in charge of this race. Cleary as well, beginning to build up the gap as well. And then we head into this mid-pack where there's still all to play for.
Logan Rolfe is in second now.
Yeah.
No, he isn't.
No, it didn't update on the timing. Still third for Logan Rolfe.
I thought I saw him in front of 1-2-2.
No, 1-2-2 according to my time system. We've got a little bit of a gap to play with here.
I'll tell you what, I was looking at, yeah, okay. Ignore me. I'm talking absolute rubbish. Okay, so there's the gap. There you go. So we've got, Otis clearly has got a little bit of a gap now back to Logan Rolfe. So you can see there, this pack now that Dean Singh Bahal is trying to hold off. It's not easy for Dean there with the charging carts right behind us. There's what, 6 carts in that pack already. And Logan Rolfe is just starting to build a bit of a gap away now. Let's see what the lap time is to come across the line. James Roos has just said a new fastest lap of the race. Let's see. Otis clearly got a 49.24. Logan Rolfe 49.23. 1/100th of a second in it between Otis clearly and Logan Rolfe. Clearly has managed to get into a groove now. He's found his time, but look at Dean Singh Bahal try and make the kart as wide as possible. Noah Wicklow is also trying to get past him while also keeping Lewis Herbertson behind. This, I cannot stress how difficult it is to do what these drivers are doing right now.
This is remarkable stuff. I couldn't even think about negotiating the kart around the track by myself. The fact that these young drivers put on such a great show for us and do so with such fine performances as well is truly impressive. It's why we do love this club level karting. It's why we're really appreciative of you pass holders for supporting it as well at the grassroots level, because it is just brilliant. Some of the best racing in the world.
Indeed it is. So here we go. Logan, as you can see there, Dean Singh Bahal went a little bit wide. I think that might have given Noah Wicklow a bit of a chance. Here we go. We've got Dean Singh Bahal gone very defensive. That's also put Noah Wicklow on the defensive line. And here comes Lewis Herbertson. Can he get the undercut? Almost side by side into Ashby. No, they're keeping line of sight, but up the inside there went Charlie Page on Finn Grantham. Charlie Page is also a big mover in this race, up 8 positions, started 16th place, now up 9 positions as he jumps into 7th place ahead of Finn Grantham. Charlie Page, one of those drivers that you've always got to keep a lookout for, because he can surprise you with some incredible performances. But here we go. We've got Dean Singh Bahal. It's actually built a little bit of a gap now, and Noah Wicklow is the one under the eye of Charlie Page now. So let's see how this goes. The 144 is chasing the 53 up towards Christmas corner, side by side, up the inside there goes the 153 of Lewis Herbertson, but he can't quite make it stick. He's still got Noah Wicklow right behind him. Can anyone make a move into Ashby? No, they stay line astern.
Not long to go in this race, and so many tales to tell from it so far. Have a look at the number 58. Oh dear, we got the number 29 off track. Who is that? Oh, my laptop took the first time to drop out. Those number 28, sorry, of Mohammed Omar Abdeen. Unfortunate end to the race there, but we focus back on what's going on elsewhere. We're on board with Charlie Page and the likes of Rio Paneotu, and the huge train in the mid-pack as well.
Yes, absolutely, and there is quite a big gap that's now growing between Otis Clearly and Logan Rolfe, and in fact Logan Rolfe is what's a bit in no man's land. He's completely sort of stuck now. We've got a yellow flag being waved in the mid-sector there. Don't know what that's for, but look at this train as they come through. Dean Singh Bahal is defending for the life. It is absolutely astonishing. Lewis Herbertson is now the driver right behind. Noah Wicklow is trying to fend off Josh Cook. Here they are. Josh Cook is trying to find a way around. And now almost Lewis Herbertson might have a chance as we go into, it's the final lap. Oh, James Roots comes around the final corner. That is exactly what he needs to do. Congratulations. What a drive from James Roots. Otis Clearly, it was a bit up and down, but he managed to come home in second place. Logan Rolfe in third, impressive. Dean Singh Bahal, Josh Cook up to fifth at the final moment of that race. Noah Wicklow in sixth with the fastest lap. Lewis Herbertson, Will Eden, Charlie Page and Flynn Grantham as they come across the line. What a race.
All I have to say is thank you, drivers.
Yeah.
Thank you for what a brilliant performance. Fans clearly enjoying that one as well. Great view of it from the balcony there, I am sure. You can see so much of the track from that point. But what a race that was to round out our Inters running for the day as well.
Yes, indeed. It's a shame because I do love the Inter races. They are absolutely fantastic. They always deliver. Exhibit A. It was absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, that is it for the Rotax Inters, but it is far from over for the racing for today, because coming up next, we have got the very, very, very recognisable sound of the Honda Cadets. So it is the Honda Cadet Final. Here are the positions as they come up on the grid. We've got Callum Ryan and Jesse Bailey, two of the big names in the first couple of races, followed by Krish Doshi and Freddie Williams. Again, two very, very capable drivers, with Louis Dawson and Kieran Doherty on row 3. As we go to row 4, we've got Ethan Hulbert and Teddy Morton, followed by Felix Bessel and Oscar Watson. And rounding out the 11-kart grid, we have Joey Comber. And as we mentioned before, just because it's a slightly tighter grid doesn't mean the racing is any less impressive. In the previous couple of races, especially that last one where we saw the first, I think it was 4 karts, 5 karts actually, wasn't it, towards the end, all vying for that win. It was astonishing. It starts off a little bit slow with the Honda Cadets. They just kind of find their positions, they start working together a little bit, and they kind of tease you a little bit. They kind of go, oh yeah, you know, we've got this in us, we can do this, and then all of a sudden, there we go, they're off, and within a couple of minutes to go, they are absolutely fighting tooth and nail with each other. So trust me, this is one that you do not want to miss.
Yeah, no, it really is quite like the race itself, as you say. You know, it starts from nothing and then builds up into, whereas, you know, all the races, it's off the blocks, we're ready to go. Sometimes too eager to go.
Yes.
But we can't have that in the Honda Cadet. It's a nice change up.
Yes. And of course, don't forget, it's a standing start as well, which we don't get with any of the other classes that you'll see here racing today. So it means that it's one more thing for the drivers to have to master. And what you'll see as well is as they start to go, you'll see all the drivers like shuffling in their seat, trying to get the tyres to grip into the road and give them that acceleration off the line to give them those best positions. Should be very, very interesting to see how it goes for them. We have got, it's 12 minutes plus a lap for the Honda Cadets. Same with all of the other classes, barring the Junior Max, which was at a 10-minute plus a lap. So yeah, 12 minutes plus a lap for these young drivers. And yeah, like I say, they always put on a show, and they always deliver, and I cannot wait to see what happens with it.
Yeah, should be a good one. This is our third to last final already. Yeah, the racing action has flown by today because it has just been so good wall to wall, no matter what class, no matter what part of the day. It has been really enjoyable.
It has 100%. Every single class has delivered on the promise of fantastic racing, and we're here for it. I can't believe you said there's 3 races left. There is. It is absolutely astonishing. I looked at the time just. It's nearly 3 o'clock. Where's the time gone?
Yeah. Would like to say that well done to everyone behind the scenes at the track and keeping this event running so smoothly, because we're ahead of schedule. Yeah. I shouldn't have. That is the worst.
You've just jinxed
commentator's
it.
curse.
What have you just done?
Oh, sorry, folks.
That's a rookie move, that is.
That really is.
Never mind. Well, anyway.
Yeah. And I'm hearing murmurs from the director's box that they're really happy with me for saying that as well.
Yeah, they want to stay till midnight. I heard that as well.
Yeah. Sorry, folks.
Obviously, please keep your comments coming in the live chat as well. Thank you very much for taking part of it. We're seeing obviously some people that have been getting involved. It's absolutely fantastic to see. So, the Honda Cadets are now out on track, and there is that recognisable sound. It's known the world over, really.
Yeah.
You hear that noise, and you go, oh, it's a Honda.
In a variety of applications as well.
But the most important question,
yes.
Has anybody developed the VTEC system yet? Right, it's been a couple of hours now.
Yeah, you've had time.
Yeah, you've had the time. Where's the VTEC system? I want to see this VTEC on a go-kart.
I want to hear a go-kart just...
Ah, fantastic.
We've got one done, apparently, so it may be as bonus content for SlipStream Pass viewers. At the end of the day, we might hear just a car dashing around, bouncing off the rev limiter.
We should get Piers Pryor to drive it, but we don't tell him it's got a VTEC system. Here we go. Yes, it is exactly like Richard Hammond in their Top Gear Australia versus UK.
Yeah, the Super Van Transit thing.
Exactly. Yeah. They had the V8 twin-turbo Jaguar engine in the back of the Transit. So, yes, that's exactly what we should do to him. And yeah,
lots of old Top Gear cars.
And so, as the cars come around to the grid, they can queue up in their positions. And we should be getting ready for the race start.
So, reminder for the procedure for this one, in case you've missed the heat earlier on, we'll make sure that everyone is formed up and everyone is ready to go racing. I think a driver's definitely not ready to go racing by those gestures there, but to make sure everyone's in the correct formation. And then, when we're ready to go, you'll see a board showing up that says 5 seconds until we go. Then we will get to go racing, but we're not quite ready to go racing. We are out of formation potentially, or there's an issue with the car. Not too sure what's going on there, but
you know what the problem was?
Out of formation.
They can't park there.
No, you're right, yeah.
They can't park there. Anyway, yeah, they're completely out of formation. I think that's Louis Dawson there that's just trying to get into position. So he was on the right-hand side when he should have been on the left-hand side. But it looks like they're all sorted now. They're just going to double-check everything once again. They're getting ready to wave the flag. Let's see. Yeah, the marshal is running out of the way. He's got the flag at the ready. Are we good to go? Flag is up. Let's see that board go up. We have got 5 seconds until we go. Here we go, everyone. It is the Honda Cadet final.
We are away. You can see the attempts to get the cart up and off the ground there, but not quite too sure what's going on there. That was unexpected, but we are. It's not a false start. We're good to go racing nonetheless. You can see that is Louis Dawson now in the correct position, fighting from P6 there as we run through Christmas, and the ante begins to build in this race. Jesse Bailey leads us though from Carlin Ryan.
Indeed, yeah, it was a fantastic start there for Jesse Bailey. You saw the gap that he managed to get, even just by oblivion. It's a massive gap back to the 33 of Callum Ryan, and to be honest, because the other car's behind it, so we've got a car off on the grass. I think it may have been bit pushed, perhaps he put his arm up in the air. That was the 61, sorry, of Freddie Williams. So he's dropped all the way down the pack at the moment, possibly all the way to the back. So let's see the cards as they come across the line so we can see exactly what position they're in at the first time of asking. So Callum Ryan is in first place. I do apologise. I thought it was Jesse Bailey. It wasn't. Callum Ryan in first, followed by Jesse Bailey, followed by Chris Doshi and Kieran Doherty, Louis Dawson, Teddy Morton, Ethan. Replay. Here we go. Thank you very much for this replay. So, okay. So they went side by side as they came through Wilkins, and yeah, it just went a little bit too wide, unfortunately. So that wasn't ideal for Freddie Williams, but he's got the pace to catch up. I'm sure he does. So we'll see how he gets on for the remainder of the race. Jesse Bailey has almost got a second to Callum Ryan now in front of him, so that's not exactly where he wants to be. Side by side, they're down the back straight with the number 18 of Oscar Watson overtaking Felix Bessel. That is for 8th position in the lower half of the top 10. So it's we've got a bit of damage on the 44 actually as well. I wonder if we can have a closer look at that. It's on the front left, I believe it is, as we're looking at it, front right on the kart itself. So let's see as it comes towards us up at Christmas. Let's see, where are they? Here we go. Look at the damage on the 44.
Oh, yes. It's sort of flapping around a little bit. And I wonder if that was one of the karts that was originally involved in that skirmish at the start of the race. That would quite well explain that. There was a bit of a coming together. The karts got attached and they were luckily able to untangle themselves. But particularly odd one at the start of the race there. But we are well into the swing of things now.
Yes, indeed we are, absolutely. So as we go down towards the boot for another lap, you can see, oh yeah, you can see there the dink in the side of it. Look at that. Yeah.
That is some aerodynamic reworking there that I think the Adrian Newey Aston Martin B-Spec would be proud of.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that is a similar level. Yeah, there's a similar level there.
Yes, absolutely. So there's not obviously how you want to start the race, but the kart is still running, so he can obviously just get into the groove of things and get going. But look how close Chris Doshi is to the back of Jesse Bailey now. Chris Doshi obviously has been one of the main drivers in this category throughout the day so far. Jesse Bailey also has been quite at the front. So it's going to be quite interesting between these two drivers to see how they come out on top, because there's already quite a gap over to Callum Ryan in first position. He set the fastest lap last time around at the 53.95. In all fairness, though, Chris Doshi on that last lap at 53.96. So 1/100th of a second between them. Let's see what they were. 53.67 for Callum Ryan and a 54.0 for Chris Doshi and Jesse Bailey. They were within 2/100th of a second of each other. Because, yeah, Callum Ryan is just starting to build this gap now. So arguably, it's almost a battle for best of the rest, assuming it continues in this direction.
Yeah, sure, being that is the case, still plenty of this race to go. This is another one of our 12-minute races, so only about a third of the way in so far, plus a lap at the end, of course, with the number 30 of Bailey under pressure from Doshi here as they run onto that back straight. Now this has given Callum Ryan a lovely time to have a look at some of the sights around Wilton Mill, whilst Bailey and Doshi have a bit of a scrap. Maybe they're thinking, come on, let's work together now, although to be honest, Callum Ryan's pace is pretty impressive at this moment in time. He's just keeping a nice consistent advantage to everyone else. Having said that, previous couple of laps, previous lap, particularly Bailey and Doshi closing in.
I think they're starting to work together now. Let's see. Are they actually working together? No, they're not. Chris Doshi up the inside and takes second position away from Jesse Bailey at Christmas corner. You can see there that Chris Doshi went past and threw his hand up to say to Jesse Bailey, come on, let's go, let's catch them up. You can see Jesse Bailey was just having a quick look into Ashby there, but no, he decided to jump back into the slipstream. Let's try and work together, because they've still got just under 7 minutes. It's enough time. It's only a second and a half up the road to Callum Ryan. They can do this, so they need to get their heads down. You can see he's just having a quick look. But yeah, I think they communicated together now. Right, let's try and close this gap, because we cannot have this. Meanwhile, a bit further back, Kieran Doherty is in a bit of no man's land at the moment, with Louis Dawson and Teddy Morton right behind him. But everyone is kind of spaced out for the time being. Like we were saying earlier on, they start off a little bit slower and they just get a bit more hotter, a bit heated. and it basically comes to a crescendo at the end of the race. So I hope I'm not commentators cursing this and it doesn't actually happen, because I'd like to see some fantastic racing, which I know these drivers are capable of.
They absolutely are, and to be honest, one of the things that always impresses me about I think the likes of the Honda Cadets is when I was this age and I was this size, I could barely spell my own name. These guys are out there on track thinking about racecraft,
yeah,
and navigating around in their cars quicker than I ever have any hope to do. It's really impressive.
Yeah,
so well done, everyone.
I couldn't stay up on my feet when I was their age, to be honest. So let alone do anything as skillful as this. So you've got to give it to them. It really is very impressive at how good they are at such a young age. Oh, side by side there for second place. Up the inside goes Chris Doshi. So Jesse Bailey came on at the last corner on the left-hand side, tried to go up the inside of that first kink, but that left him on the outside of Oblivion. So he's had to tuck back in to third position, and now it's over a 2-second gap to Callum Ryan on that last lap alone. Chris Doshi was just over a tenth slower than Callum Ryan, and Jesse Bailey was 100th slower. So Jesse Bailey gained a bit of time on that last lap, but it's not quite enough. 5 minutes remaining in this race, and the time to start catching up is dwindling. So if you're Jesse Bailey, you're kind of looking at Chris Doshi right now going, right, come on, either you speed up or we're not going to catch him. You know, it's a very tricky position to be in.
It absolutely is. Not too long to go. As you say, the final 5 minutes of these Honda Cadets are going to be out on track. This is when we should start to see those final decisive moves being made. Doherty, Bailey, about a kart length apart. Maybe that will expand ever so slightly as Doherty runs wide into Christmas, but doesn't seem to have cost all that much. Meanwhile, Ryan and Doshi at the front end run through Christmas and down towards Ashby, about a kart length separates them, and that shrinks as we head into the right hander now. Both negotiating it quite nicely. Sorry, it's Doshi and Bailey, not Doshi and Ryan. Apologies. And now we run through Osiers back onto that back straight. And there we can see Bailey benefiting as much as they can from any potential slipstream. Now has a look at least at side by side. We go towards the boot. They have to go single file once more. We've had one brave race. We've seen some proper side by side action through the chicane. Everyone else has decided, let's just wait until we head down towards Oblivion again.
Yes, indeed. On that last lap as well, Doshi and Bailey were separated by 0.04 of a second, and they closed up about sort of half a second, really. Up the inside, though, goes Jesse Bailey up to Christmas corner. Can he make the move stick? I'm not sure he can, because, yeah, Chris Doshi just managed to get around the outside and keep that position. That was very, very skillful driving there from Doshi in the number 11 car. See there that Kieran Doherty and Louis Dawson are also quite close at the moment, but we are sticking with eyes on this. Doshi is trying to hold off Jesse Bailey. I think they've probably decided Callum Ryan is too far up the road now. He has completely driven away. Up the inside there goes Jesse Bailey into the boot, and he takes second place away from Chris Doshi. Chris Doshi going to need to come back at him through the heel of the boot, round the last corner, onto the final, onto the start-finish straight. And there is not much you can choose between them at the moment. They're now 3 seconds adrift of Callum Ryan. That is astonishing. Now let's have a quick look at fourth position. You can see that Kieran Doherty is just managing to keep about 2 karts lengths ahead of Louis Dawson. Meanwhile, Teddy Morton has been overtaken almost by Freddie Williams. Williams obviously recovering from that early mishap that he had earlier on when he went across the grass, but he takes that position away from Morton, up into 6th position for the number 61.
Brilliant stuff, just as we thought. It really does build up towards the end now. Having a look further back, this is Morton versus Dawson as they head through the run onto the back straight. A little bit separated out this time around.
Indeed, Freddie Williams is obviously just starting to pull away a little bit from Ethan Hulbert as well. So is he going to be able to close in on these drivers in front of him? It's potentially, yes. But we'll see. We've still got just under 2 minutes remaining. He's trying to close in, sorry, on Louis Dawson, not Morton. So Freddie Williams up into 6th place. You can see we've almost got 2 little pairs here. Kieran Doherty and Louis Dawson, followed by Freddie Williams and Teddy Morton. Back up at the front, the gap between Jesse Bailey and Chris Doshi over the line was about 0.3 of a second. So we've still got to kind of keep our eyes on about 3 battles at the moment. Here they are for the 2nd place on the podium. Coming round the bottom of Osiers and down towards the the boot. You can see there that Bailey went slightly defensive, and Chris Doshi just put his hand up and went, no, it's all right, after you, we're fine. I'm not going to overtake you yet. So we'll see it. Round the last corner, onto the start-finish straight once again. Got a couple of laps remaining now. There's a couple of kart lengths in it between the two of them. And you can see there how Freddie Williams is just pulling away now from Teddy Morton. So Williams could potentially join this little battle for 4th place. It potentially could happen. Let's see how the remainder of the race goes. 3 and almost a half seconds now is the gap from Callum Ryan back to the next couple of karts. So he has well and truly stamped his mark on this race today. Let's come round Ashby into the top of Wilkins and down towards Osiers. You can see there that Jesse Bailey is just trying to kind of push the car as much as possible, and Chris Doshi is looking at alternative lines. See, can he unnerve Bailey anywhere? Can he potentially find any additional grip that he didn't know was there? This is the experimental part. We've got probably about 2 laps remaining of this race. Round for another lap around. Here we go. On the start-finish straight, they're not quite close enough. Let's have a look at these ones. Kieran Doty and Louis Dawson. Freddie Williams also still close enough, but look how close these are now. Quite wide goes Louis Dawson. Here we go. This is on. This is on. Up towards Christmas Corner. Is he going to try and overtake? No, he sticks in the wheel tracks. Interesting. So clearly he possibly had an opportunity to make a lunge there, but he chose not to. Let's go into Ashby. Let's see how he does here. He's going to stick in the wheel tracks. Yes, he is. You've got 0 seconds left on the clock now. So it still remains Kieran Doty in 4th position and Louis Dawson in 5th. He's sticking right behind the number 94 of Doty. But next time around will be the final lap. So if there's going to be any moves happening, it has to be soon.
It does indeed. Not long to go now. We look at the 94 of Doherty, still under that pressure from Dawson. Has a brief glance towards the inside there, maybe thinking about a 2-way move down through the chicane. Nothing to be had just yet. Has some good momentum though. Dawson might be looking to find a way past as we run down to the Oblivion. Has a look at the outside, carries a lot of speed in, but maybe scrubs some of it off. Has the potential of a slipstream here, goes for the outside, which is well defended by Kieran up in front. Ashby will be the next major opportunity here. Can anything be done from that far back? Just get the sense not quite close enough to make anything stick just yet. Around about a kart length is the gap between the two. Meanwhile, we will eventually pick up Ryan at some point, but for now, this battle between Dawson and Doherty is really the main focus of the past couple of laps. Here is Callum Ryan navigating his way through the boot, uncontested as he makes his way around that right-hander and celebrate a fully deserved victory there for Callum Ryan. Remarkable gap. Another comfortable victory there. One of the very few comfortable victories we've seen so far overall, though. Jesse Bailey brings home second. Doshi third. Doherty wins out ahead of Dawson in the end. Actually top 5, followed by Freddie Williams, Teddy Morton, Ethan Hulbert, Oscar Watson, Felix Bessel and Joey Comer completing the 11 kart order for this Honda Cadet final. They've put on a great show for us, have those young drivers. Well done to Doherty and Dawson. That was a great battle towards the end, and Callum Ryan just cruising on home in the end.
That was such an impressive showing there from Callum Ryan. He did everything he needed to do. He was so consistent in his lap times, literally probably about sort of 2 or 3 tenths of a second in it every single lap. But that is consistency, and it's consistency that wins races, not just one lap speed. And there is your proof. Callum Ryan came home with just over 4 seconds back to Jesse Bailey. That was a very, very impressive showing. And unfortunately, that is it for the Honda Cadets, but it's not it for the Cadets overall, because coming up next, we have the Rotax Cadets. So, the Rotax Cadet Final. These drivers have been very interesting today, as like all of them have. But this should be an interesting one. Here we go. Caden Hanley and Will Wainwright are on the front row, followed by Harry Riley and Cooper Galloway. Then we've got Tommy Lovejoy and Freddie Fullerton. Then we've got Teddy Shepherd and Tommy Delaney, followed by Cal Vary and Jack Gould. Then Daniel DeBero and Nicodem Piatak. Then Jack Reed and Alexander Piatak, followed by Jackson Foots and Hugo Senna at the very back of the grid. So some of the main drivers we've seen so far today are spread throughout the field, so that means there should be some movers up and down the grid. So you've got to kind of keep your eyes in about 50 different places at once for this one.
Yeah, it's going to make for a very interesting final indeed. We've seen, as you say, some great battles involving those names as well, so it should be a really good final 12 minutes of action for our Rotax cadets today.
Yes, indeed, we should. So hopefully it should be a good one. And we've seen, obviously, a couple of these drivers being very, very racy throughout the day so far. And because they're starting up and down the grid, and it's going to be against people that they haven't necessarily been racing against so far today, it's going to be quite interesting because they've got to try and work out very quickly, right, where's this person's weaknesses, where are their strengths, where can I try and gain an advantage on them. So you're going to see a lot of movers in this race, I reckon. And it's a medium-sized grid. So there should be plenty of action to follow. Out onto the track, the drivers come for the final time today. Green flags being waved around for them to head around for their formation. You can see all the drivers are now starting to wiggle their tyres, trying to get the heat into the rubber to give them the best chance of getting a good start.
That lovely sun we've been enjoying so far for the past few hours seems to be, in some parts,
I mean, we haven't been enjoying it.
No, that is true. We've been enjoying the effects of it,
yes,
with the heat. But maybe a little bit grey potentially. I don't think we're at any risk of rain now looking at it, to be fair. I think it's just beginning to get a little bit darker out. Is the nights are drawing in?
They are, yes. Yeah, we've gone past the summer solstice now, haven't we? So, yes, the nights are getting longer. The days are getting shorter. Not that we're going to notice just yet. But never mind. What we do notice is look how well, neatly formatted the carts already are before even the entrance to the boot, really. Here they come round the right-hander.
That's how it's done.
That is how it's done. Everyone else, take note. Look at these young drivers. They can get it. They've got it already down. Number 69 of Caden Hanley and Will Wainwright on the front row. They are two of the big names. So here we go into the tram lines for their final time today. Are we racing? Yes. Oh no, we've got a full start. They're going round once again. So that was just a bit of a false start.
Yeah, a bit of a commentator's curse there.
It was a commentator's curse, yes, okay.
Oh, that's why. I'm not counting that formation.
No, that's not formation.
I mean, it is,
wasn't me.
But it isn't.
That wasn't me.
Probably unintentional.
That was not me, so it's fine. It's all good. Apparently, it's all my fault according to the director. So it's fine.
We'll go around again and we'll get formed up.
Again.
Well, it's a false start, so technically that never happened. It didn't exist.
Exactly.
So we get to say again.
Exactly.
Everyone's going to get formed up very well.
Yeah, and that was Jack Reed, unfortunately, that stopped before he could even actually get going. But here we go. The drivers are forming up once again on the back straight into the entrance to the boot. They go, they're all ready, kind of ready to go. And you can see a couple of drivers there putting their arms over the radiator, covering that flap, trying to get that additional heat into there. And hopefully give them that a little advantage as they get on to their race. So here we go. They're all ready to go. Nice and neat. And there you can see Jack Reed standing at the sidelines. I'm sure he wants to be on that grid, but he's got to stand and watch from the tyres for the time being. The drivers go around the tip of the boot. Now they come through the shortcut of the chicane. Here we go. Second time around. Are they going racing?
Well, they looked formed up very well indeed. So we head round that final corner and down the tram line. Nice start, drivers, as we hear those revs rise. We are green flag, we are go for our Rotax micro cadets. The final time today through Oblivion. We going down towards Christmas. Already seeing a little bit of argy-bargy here. Nearly 4 wide, in fact, make that into Christmas. A tiny touch there. Everyone's still pointing the correct direction as we head into Ashby.
I think that was Harry Riley there. Went a little bit too deep into Christmas and sort of locked to the rears a little bit, but very, very well held. He's now stuck in the wheel tracks of Cooper Galloway. So yeah, he's a bit further down the pack now, and I think Will Wainwright has stayed in second place. Yes, he has. He's right on the tracks of Caden Hanley. We've seen Wainwright and Hanley have a bit of an argy-bargy earlier on with their races. I don't think they came into contact, but they were just very, very fierce with each other, so it should be very interesting. But look at this little train now for third position. As they come over the line, let's see how they are. Caden Hanley in first, Will Wainwright in second. Cooper Galloway is the gatekeeper to the train in third, with Harry Riley fourth. 777 and Freddie Fullerton in fifth position. Here we go, up to Christmas corner for the second time of asking, and everyone just seems to be a little bit sedate for the time being. That black helmet of Fullerton just trying to take the inside line to protect himself against Calvera. Calvera obviously started a little bit further down than we expect him to, but he's making those positions for the time being. He's already up 3 positions, starting in 9th, up into 6th place. And as it stands right now, I think we should be seeing him make some moves even further up.
Should indeed. Still 10 minutes to play with in this race. Hanley, Wainwright obviously involved in a great tussle earlier on today. So once you've watched this, do go and watch that back if you didn't catch it, if you weren't tuned in throughout the day with us, because so many great moments from even the heats this morning when things were getting settled for the action this afternoon. We have a look at the number 18 of Harry Riley there, poised for a run down the inside, side by side with Calvera now, as we run down through Ashby. Actually going through the single file approach potentially. No, it's going to be Vieira having a look down the inside as they headed in to Ashby. There's number 32 of Cooper Galloway now under threat from Vieira. And still that threat does not abate. Vieira says, there's a gap, I'm going to go for it, thank you very much. And seeing that, Harry Riley says, I'm trying to claw back a couple of positions here, and is going to look to do the same thing.
Yes, but look at the gap now Vieira's got up to Will Wainwright and Caden Hanley. They have started to pull away a little bit. You see that Harry Riley was trying to follow Cooper Galloway around that last couple of corners. But let's see what the gap is. It is a second and a half. Got just over 9 minutes of time remaining on the clock. There's still enough time for Calvera to close that gap, but it's going to be a tall order by himself. You can see there Cooper Galloway going very defensive against the 18 of Harry Riley. Harry Riley wants to get past Galloway, but Galloway is doing his absolute utmost to try and protect. Right behind them, look at this train of 5 cars. Jack Gould down to Teddy Shepherd, that is. So fantastic little battle here in the mid-pack. There's 5 carts deep as we come round to the back straight once again. You can't really tell who's going to be doing what. Here we go into the entrance of the boot. Any moves been made at the moment? A little bit of a touch there, but nothing too mad. Anybody kind of can't see a real at the inside, but they keep in a single file for the time being. Over start finish straight once again, onto another lap, 8 minutes and a bit to go, and up to Christmas. Everyone is being quite sedated at the moment. 777 of Fullerton is trying to hold off Lovejoy, but Lovejoy up the inside, I think takes that move. He does. So it's Tommy Lovejoy into 7th place now, ahead of Fullerton.
Start to see that front 2 really breaking away quite nicely now, which seems to be a bit more of a theme that we've noticed in the finals compared to the heats.
It's definitely a mental challenge, I think, and you often see that people can sort of crack under pressure a little bit more in the finals because they've got this pressure on them that's often self-inflicted, to be honest. They put more pressure on the finals, even though it is just another race. Up the inside there goes 777 of Fullerton. He's got that back from... no, sorry, he's holding off Tommy Lovejoy. Oh, no, yeah, he's holding off Lovejoy once again. So that's allowed Tommy Delaney to get up into 8th position now. That was a fantastic move from Fullerton. But look how close here. See the Cooper Galloway and Harry Riley are up towards Christmas corner. He's gone so defensive. That is now bringing Jack Gould right into this fight. So it's gone from a 2 to a 3 for the 4th place position into Ashby. We've got Cooper Galloway, Harry Riley and Jack Gould all line astern through the top of Wilkins and down towards Osiers. As you can see, the leaders are coming out towards the boot now. There they are, 4th, 5th and 6th into the entrance to the boot, and here is the battle behind them. Fullerton is still making his card as wide as it possibly can be. Now he's got Tommy Lovejoy, who's just overtaken Tommy Delaney into the entrance to the boot, right behind him. Fullerton, I'm sure, is absolutely sick of the sight of Tommy Lovejoy right behind him. He wants to get rid of him, but he can't. Lovejoy keeps coming back. Look at these 3 now as they come up towards Christmas corner. Are we going to see any moves? You can see that Jack Gould goes right for the left-hand side as Harry Riley does go over to defend as well. And Cooper Galloway is stuck on the inside to try and cover him off. For the time being, they're still in one position. Here we go, on the inside comes Jack Gould. No, he has a bit of a swing back. and he keeps in 6th position behind Harry Riley. Look at this now. You've got Fullerton looking left and right. Up the inside there goes Tommy Lovejoy, and he makes that position. Also, I think Tommy Delaney's got back through as well. So Fullerton has gone from 7th down to 9th. That Herculean effort of a defence has now gone, unfortunately, as the way of Tommy Lovejoy. He's gone from 8th into 7th, and now back up the inside goes Fullerton. He takes, oh no, a bit of a contact between the two of them. That's not what you want to see. You don't go too wide through that corner. It is extremely difficult, and that is why Fullerton has pulled off on the outside of the last corner. That is not how they wanted to end the race. I believe we've got a yellow flag down there at the moment. Not full course yellow just yet. We'll keep an eye on the action. Here we go. This is the 4th place battle, still raging on.
It is indeed. Let's tune in with that now. Another one of those battles. I thought the battle we were just enjoying was going to be one of those that just continues on until the end of the race. This 4th place battle could certainly be that, though. What a shame. Fullerton, a novice to the series, of course. Really a fine effort up until, unfortunately, it all turned a little bit sour. But we're on board with Galloway now, defending that 4th position from Riley, from Gould. There's some formidable challengers behind. As we navigate our way back onto that start-finish straight, I think we're going to get to see a replay of that earlier moment. There is the 7-7-1 of Lovejoy leading the charge through the boot. They go, and this is immediately when that 2x2 action starts to take place. That is Fullerton. Was that no Fullerton having a look? No, sorry, it was Lovejoy having a look around the outside, and Fullerton, unfortunately.
Yeah, so Fullerton was going around the outside.
Yeah.
I think it was Delaney, actually, because Lovejoy was a bit further ahead. And obviously, I think Delaney just went over the curb a little bit too much, and he just couldn't get the steering in to kind of turn the kart away, and unfortunately just collected Fullerton in the process. But side by side now for 4th place. Here we go. The 18 of Harry Riley has finally got alongside Cooper Galloway up the inside and has taken 4th place away from Galloway. Into the boot, it goes back up the inside, bit of a touch there between the two of them, and you can see there that Harry Riley has got back side by side, another bit of contact between himself and Jack Gould, but Jack Gould now up into 5th place. You can see Harry Riley managed to get going once again, but he's lost a load of time and a load of positions. That's not how they wanted that to go. It's tricky to go side by side through the boot, but that's not stopping these drivers from trying.
Twice in a few laps, I think we've seen why it might be ill-advised to do that.
It's a very, very tight couple of corners there. It's not really not really something that you can go side by side in. It has been done and it can be done, but it is very, very difficult. But nonetheless, these drivers are doing their absolute utmost to try and do what they can. Here we go. Here's a replay once again. See there that he just goes slightly wide, side by side between the 18 and 32. Then here we go. This is where it happens. So it keeps enough space. It goes to the curb, and then he just kind of, I think, misjudges how wide the number 24 of Jack Gould is as they get to that curb. It's a shame. I think it's a racing incident. They kept on going, so
it's the same setup that they had the first time. It's running through the boot and thinking, oh, there's a gap down the inside. And then you're still side by side as you head towards the chicane. Yeah,
because you can actually go side by side into that little bit of a chicane. It's the last corner that's the problem. It's so tight. And you've got to try and get that tight line to get a good exit onto the start-finish straight, because then you're basically flat out from that last corner all the way up to Christmas corner. It's such an important corner to get right. And that chicane has made it even more so. It's so difficult to get right. And so because of that long run all the way up to Christmas, it's vital they get a good run through it. And hence why you see people trying to cut through. And unfortunately there, just kind of misjudged the gap that I think was on the inside. But everyone kind of got through it, and we are racing still. Here we go. This is Tommy Delaney trying to hold off Nikodem Pertak and Harry Riley, I believe it was, a bit further back. Meanwhile, up at the front, let's have a quick look at what's happening here. This is Cow... oh, hang on. Will Wainwright's have they swapped around? Or oh, what's happened?
I think we might have missed, potentially, someone dropping off.
No, but look how close Caden Hanley and Calvera is now. How have they got... We were so busy focusing on what happened further back. We have not seen this.
Else,
Vieira has managed to get past Wainwright. And look at this now. We have a battle for lead with 1.5 minutes left. So this is going down to the wire. Vieira started in 9th place, has gone up 7 positions, and has slowly been picking up the pieces of people. A fastest lap of 52.25, almost half a second quicker than Hanley in front. Look how close they are as they go up to Christmas corner now. Hanley's gone so defensive. Vieira goes goes right up to the left-hand side of the track, tries to get the cut through. Here we go. Are they going to make any sort of moves down towards Ashby? Are we going to see any stamp on the brakes? Probably going to see the carts veering sideways slightly as they stamp on, but no, it's actually quite very, very sedate between the two of them. Will Wainwright is just watching the back of this with his popcorn going, oh yeah, I'll pick up the piece if something goes wrong here. Down into Osiers. On the inside, he tries to have a quick look, but Vera can't quite make it stick on the back straight now. There's a bit of a gap between them, but it is by no means over.
Certainly not. Vieira lays in waiting, then Hanley leads the charge up through the boot. This is a moment where we've seen races decided. Not going to be decided this time around for these two drivers as they lead the charge. Vieira carrying as much speed as possible through that final corner, then leaning over in the kart. There was that much force being exerted on the driver with all that speed through Christmas. Sorry, not through. Through Christmas, we head toward. We head through Oblivion first, and there we go. Hanley on the defence, clearly under the pressure from Vieira now, just moves that car to make sure it's a tricky obstacle to negotiate. But Vieira has the inside potentially. No, they switch around. Great defence there from Hanley to make himself unpredictable. We're side by side as we run through towards Osiers in just a moment. Just about takes back the race lead. Has he gone too deep into the corner? The inside goes to Vieira. It could go any way here, folks. Back onto the back straight. Hanley keeps a hold of it for the time being. Vieira looks over the shoulder because here's Wainwright on the scene as well. Now has the double act of trying to go for the race lead, but potentially losing out on P2 here with Will Wainwright on the scene. They go in single file through the boot once more and take another run around, and onto that final lap we go. Hanley has control of things. We run down towards Christmas to see if that changes once more. Wainwright just seems to be pegging back just a little bit now. It all gets into a bit of a tussle in that run up to Christmas, and still a great defensive position there from Caden Hanley. Sees him leading this race.
That was some absolutely fantastic driving up the inside there. He tries to have a quick look, but no, Cammie is wise to it. He comes in very defensive. That was some fantastic driving there from both of them. But look, here comes Will Wainwright up the inside now, down towards Osiers, and he takes second place away from Vieira. All that work, all that overtaking, and it's now back down into third place. Here we go. This is the final real opportunity. Up the inside goes Kai Vieira. Tries to make it move, but he can't quite make it stick. Will Wainwright has managed to keep it stuck, but Caden Hanley round the last corner. And what a race from these three drivers. Wow. That was astonishing. Well done. That back and forth between Hanley and Vieira last lap into Ashby, and then the cutbacks. That was astonishing. In fourth place, we see Cooper Galloway keep that position ahead of Tommy Lovejoy, Teddy Shepherd, and Jack Gould. Wow.
What a drive from these young drivers. Once again, the cadets putting on a really good show for us. That was remarkable stuff. That could have gone anyone's way, particularly with Wainwright's late resurgence. Kaya Vieira, 9th to 3rd overall, so might not be taking away the race lead, but I'm sure can be very pleased with the performance overall. Some very good points on offer there. Of course, Vieira in the mix in that championship standings, and is the only driver present in the top end today, so will be rewarded as we head further into the season with a bit more wiggle room, shall we say. That's it though for the cadet action, and in fact that's it for most of the action today. That was the penultimate race. We've got one last race to go, folks. It's going to be a good one. It's the Junior Max A final.
So, the last race of the day, the juniors, it's the A final. This is what all those different heats, the 3 heats they had, their B final has all been working up towards. Who will come out on top? It is an absolutely packed grid of karts this is, and it's going to be very difficult to try and keep up to date with who is where, but here is your starting grid. Blake Southern and Harry Taylor on the front row, followed by Alex Shepherd, Tom Reed, Aidan Clark and Logan Hartshone. Then we've got Max Wheatley and Jax Beasley, Archie Ray Watson and Harrison Bishop, Tobias Johns and Oliver Peters. Then we've got Finley Strang and Miles Cleworth, followed by Ronnie Jones, Nathan Rond, Max Bog Sol and Jay Singh. Then Jensen Walker and Oliver Barton, Miles Burton and Finn Davenport, Samir Paul and Joseph Berkery. Then Ashton Tabb and Layla Fitzgerald, Devin Taylor and Tigran Gregorian. Then Jensen Evans and Jack Corser. Finally we've got Lackley Yordanov, Joseph Baxter, Harley King and Lily Shaw, rounding out the 4-kart grid. That is the biggest grid we have seen today.
It certainly is. Obviously, it's always going to be a big grid once the junior maxes, but add that the couple of repcharged drivers as well. That did well in the previous running. Going to be a packed grid. Going to be plenty of action to talk about. 12 minutes to settle their differences here for round 5 at the Wilton Mill Kart Club.
Yes, exactly. In 12 minutes time will either be that was a great race or what on earth just happened. We couldn't keep up to date with everything because with how many karts there are and how many talented drivers there are, anybody would have their work cut out trying to keep up to date with this. The karts come out onto the track for the final time today. Look at the train. Look how many there are. Just imagine you were dropped in the middle of this train and told to just go and race. Good luck. Not many people could. It is so difficult to do. These drivers are very, very, very good. And we've got some particularly decent drivers, particularly well-known drivers here racing today. So hopefully we're in for a treat. Look, all of the people have crowded the front of the balcony. I think it's actually too deep now on the balcony of the clubhouse. Just goes to show how many people are ready and raring to go for this race. The drivers are now starting to form up, I believe, at the boot. Here they are. So, are we going to go racing first time round? It's a lot of people. It's a lot of karts to get going and in position. Here we go. Final race of the day.
Here they go then, building up that formation, that long formation train as they head down those tram lines. Will we get a good start? Well played, drivers. That was pretty good, given just how many cars we've got. Southern versus Shepherd then leading that charge down towards Christmas. This is going to be a feisty couple of laps, I predict. But so far, everyone is well behaved. Couple of side-by-side tussles as they exit through Christmas, but well done, drivers. Into Ashby we go now. Few drivers already gunning for the inside line there. You can see everyone following in that slipstream train. Bit of touching coming through Ashby there, but for the most part, drivers are through.
That is a massive shame. I did see one car, I think, got caught up on a wheel and went a little bit airborne, but most of them have managed to continue. Obviously, that
Samir
driver,
Paul, I think.
Samir Paul, is out, unfortunately. But as they come around the boot for the first time of asking, let's take a look at who is in what position after the first lap. Blake Southern and Alex Shepherd still in first and second. Harry Taylor, Tom Reed up to fourth. Aidan Clark in fifth. Max Wheatley in sixth. Logan Hartshone in seventh. Tobias Johns in eighth. Jack Beasley in ninth. And Ronnie Jones in 10th. I've got contact warning for Jack Beasley somewhere in the pack, so something's obviously happened a bit further down there. But for the time being, we are going, and they are. Look at this train. We've already got 6 cars, I think, for the leading pack. So already they're starting to form into their groups about how they're going to race for the rest of these 10.5 minutes. Into the boot for the second time of asking. So far, this front group keeping fairly sedate. They don't want to do anything too crazy just yet, but look further back. Look how many karts there are. It is astonishing how everyone is it's just still in one piece, like going 4 wide at points, I think, on that first lap. So very, very impressive as they come round Oblivion up to Christmas Corner. Yeah,
great spatial awareness from the drivers. That front end pack that we referred to, Blake Southern, Tom Reed, they're the names to watch out for out of that. They're in contention for this championship. Plenty of points to be taken away from this junior Rotax Max A final, of course. So it'll be interesting to see that dynamic between Southern and Reed as this race unfolds.
Indeed, yeah. And obviously we've been talking about this a couple of times today about if they're in a precarious position where it's one of those where, like, okay, we either come together or you jump out of the way. But they're going to need to jump out of the way because at the end of the day, the championship is more important. However, because of how many karts there are, if there is even a little bit of a touch anywhere at all, they can lose so many positions and in turn lose so many points in the process. So they need to be so careful, those of them who are actually vying for the championship, because there's plenty of people who aren't really. Up the inside there goes Harry Taylor on Alex Shepherd. I think that may have turned down. Let's have a quick look. Has he come out of it? 153 is now in second position. Alex Shepherd's dropped down, but he's also then dropped down to fourth place as Tom Reed.
Yeah.
Exactly, he jumps up into third. What a move!
Where did that come from? We saw a gap, I think, before we realised there was one there and just absolutely went for it. I think he's very much aware of what's at stake championship-wise, but loses out. Does Reed through the chicane once more.
That's how you do it. That's how you go side by side through the chicane. Very well done, very opportune from Alex Shepherd. He saw that gap, he saw the acceleration he needs to get through it, and he did it. He punched the accelerator, he got back past through Tom Reed, and Tom Reed dropped back down to 4th position, and now has Aidan Clark and Max Wheatley right on the back, except I think Aidan Clark has gone right up the inside, and he's gone wide into the grass. Was that Tom Reed? I think it might have been. I think it went side by side, maybe a little bit of a touch there between the two of them, but I think we're looking a bit where are we looking now? This is the 1-2-1-2, is it? No, 1-2-1 of Logan Hartshone. So this is 7th place as he's trying to defend against Tobias Johns and Jack Beasley. This is the lower end of the top 10. He's come round the final corner towards the start-finish straight. Look at that little train as they come round there. That's absolutely fantastic. That nose cone there, the 2-1-2 of Max Wheatley is going.
It's enthusiastic about the race, like we are.
It is, absolutely. It's kind of looking left and right, going, oh, this is great. But never mind. We've got someone in the chat as well. Come on, Blake, as well. So
his support is working well because obviously doing well in the championship and fairly comfortable in this race at the moment.
We've got someone go slow there. Are they jumping out the way? I think they've been lapped, haven't they?
Not too sure. It almost looked.
It went off the track. Okay, thank you. So a bit of an off-track excursion there for that driver, but they managed to recover, thankfully. So everyone is obviously just still settling into the position. We've got 7 and a bit minutes remaining of this race. Round the final corner towards start-finish straight. There's still some argy-bargy up and down the grid, but for the most part, there's some groups forming. Up the inside there goes the 2-9-1 of Aidan Clark on Max Wheatley. So Aidan Clark is now into 4th position. He's now got a bit of a gap between himself and Tom Reed in 3rd place. So with 6 minutes 50 remaining on the clock, he's got enough time to close that gap, so he doesn't need to do anything too drastic for the time being. But Tom Reed is closing up on the back of Harry Taylor now. That's something that we need to keep an eye on, because when Tom Reed gets there, if he gets there, but he is going actually setting the fast laps at the moment. He is a 10th quicker than Blake Southern up in the lead, and he is 2/10 quicker than Harry Taylor. He's just set another fastest lap, 46.7 as it stands right now. He is the quickest driver on track.
Yeah, brilliant stuff there. Great charge through the pack so far. Likewise for Miles Burton, 8 places gained. Also looking further down, Tigran Gregorian, 9 places gained, up from 28th. So huge pack, huge opportunities for moves to be made. As we said, a few drivers out of position in this one, so we should see some big moves.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just having a quick look down all of the drivers. I think Jensen Walker has gained 4 positions. That's one that we need to look out for. Then we've got, Jack Beasley's a bit further down than we possibly expect. Tobias Johns is a bit further down than we'd possibly expect. As well as Alex Shepherd, obviously, he's had a couple of iffy laps. That's not helped. So that is the 77, though, spun around it. That's Aston Tab. He was in 17th place. That's not exactly what I wanted to have. Right, now back up into the mid-pack, front pack. I've lost track, to be honest. I'm trying to keep up to date, but there is so much happening. It's great to watch, but it's so difficult to try and keep up to date with where everybody is. I think this is possibly the leader now. Blake Southern in the 100 car, to be followed by Harry Taylor, has been closed up. Look behind now at Tom Reed. Tom Reed with the fastest lap. He is right on the back of Harry Taylor. So this is potentially closing down. If you're Tom Reed now, what would you do? Would you go, Harry Taylor, let's work together. Let's try and close this gap to Southern? Or would you just kind of go, I'm quicker than you, I'm going past?
That's a very tricky one, because but I think he's going for that. I think we know which one he's going for now, with a great move down the inside into Christmas, although it might not be completely uncontested just yet. Let's see if that is settled to Ashby, and I think it is by now. My point being is that Harry Taylor seems to be doing a fine job of closing up to Southern without the assistance of Reeve. But if Reeve has that extra bit of performance, folks, just on the half-race distance, this is a battle for the championship. It's a battle for the race lead as well.
Exactly. It's only, well, it was 0.7 of a second last time around. It's probably a little bit more than that as he had to make that move. So let's see as they come round the final corner and over the line this time around. So here we go. What's the gap? It's 0.9 seconds now. So not out of the realm of possibility. 4 minutes remaining. That is definitely doable. Let's have a look at the times. Blake Southern was a 46.73 last time around. It was a 46.76 last time around for Tom Reed. The best lap, that was Blake Southern's best lap he did last time around. Tom Reed's best lap is just over half a tenth of a second quicker than that. So there's potential there. There is definitely potential. He's not out of it just yet. But Harry Taylor has not kind of dropped away from him, so potentially they could work together to get on the back of that 100 kart, Blake Southern.
That they could, and definitely within their sight at this point. We mark Logan Hartshaw's flying along with 46.6, their new fastest lap, but maybe Reeve not quite having the performance that he would have expected once he got past Taylor now, and Southern seemingly responding to that charge from behind. A great lap on that previous go around, a 46.72, their new fastest lap of the race. And maybe Reeve just, I mean, he's still got a good few minutes, a good few laps to try something new, try something different, but I think unfortunately what he's going to spend those few minutes doing is defending Harry Taylor. Yeah,
absolutely. It's almost a bit short-sighted for them to fight at the moment when Blake Southern is within a reachable distance. We've only got 2.5 minutes left of this race. Let's see what they are like as they come over the line this time around. Here we go. Fastest lap of the race for Blake Southern with a 46.5.
Wow.
Tom Reeve set his fastest lap, but that was a tenth and a half slower. So it's now 1.1 seconds the gap. So the effects of any sort of draft they may get is probably out of it now. They are out of that drafting, slipstreaming section and range, really, of Southern. So Southern is doing what he needs to do right now. Contact warning there for Jensen Walker further down in the pack, but for the time being, he is doing okay. Come back onto the back straight now, and Harry Taylor still looking at the back of that 242. Are they working together? I think they might be at the moment. I think he's been close enough a few times where he could have potentially made a move, but he hasn't. He's stuck behind Tom Reed, and to try and kind of get him a bit closer to Blake Southern. For the time being, let's have a look. They've closed the gap on that time around. 46.76 for Reed, a 46.8 for Blake Southern. So only less than half a tenth of a second. It's not really enough. They need to do a bit more than that if they want to try and close the gap and actually fight for that win. But for now, it's Blake Southern with over a second of the lead to Tom Reed.
Yep, things starting to just settle back into a bit more of a comfortable position now for Southern at the front end. Tom Reed really quite comfortably on that defence now, I think, and if anything, as we've just Clark, Wheatley, Hartshaw's in with a shout here as Wheatley, as Reed losing out to Taylor now as we head towards the boot. That is Harry Taylor back in charge. Are we going to see reversing fortunes? Are we now going to see that Harry Taylor decides, I can gun for Blake Southern? It would have to be over fairly quickly, though. Not long to go in this race at this point. We got effectively a lap on the clock, and then another lap after that. So it's going to be fairly close. I think this will be the second to last lap will be the next lap, I think. So we might be all right on that front, but really not long to go for all of the junior max action that we have had today.
No, not at all. And interestingly, Harry Taylor on that last lap was only 0.04 of a second off Blake Southern's quickest lap and was 0.2 of a second quicker than Blake's last lap. So he's potentially got the time to close up that little distance. So let's see how it goes. We've got 2 laps remaining. Let's see what the gap was. 1.9. It's not really enough.
I think we're at this phase of the race where like their pace is just kind of ebbing and flowing and yo-yoing at the very end of the day, and it's just going to come down to who's in the right zone at the right moment. Yeah, exactly. It's a very difficult situation to be in, but yeah, next lap around will be the final lap. So Blake Southern, for the time being, is doing everything that he needs to do. He's got over a second of lead back to Harry Taylor, Tom Reed, and even Aidan Clark is starting to get involved in this as well. Behind Aidan Clark as well, I noticed Max Wheatley and Logan Hartshaw's were trying to fight each other a little bit, so that looked quite interesting. But we're heading to the final lap of the race now. But I think this is possibly the most interesting thing on track. Harry Taylor still leads Tom Reed with Aidan Clark right behind as well. So 3 drivers. We've only got just over a kilometre left of racing today. Here we go, up to Christmas corner. What can they do? There's not enough really to try and make a move into Christmas. What about Ashby? Tom Reed needs to get much closer to Harry Taylor for it to be a possibility. He's not close enough just yet. See drivers a little bit fighting further back, but here we go through
Walkins down towards Osiers, and we're onto the back straight for the final time today. Is he close enough? I don't think he is. Blake Southern, though, he's further up the road. He's done everything that he needed to do. He has kept that gap. He has kept his head. He has driven perfectly round the final corner. Southern takes the win. The final race of today. He is your final winner.
Remarkable performance from Southern. Congratulations to Taylor and Tom Reed as well for their fantastic battle throughout so many laps in that race. Could have gone to anyone in the end, and Tom Reed finished with a flourish there, new fastest lap as well. He was eager for that to carry on for a few more laps and take away their second place. Aidan Clark, Hartshorn, Wheatley, Shepherd, Jones, Johns, Jones and Beasley, your top 10 at the end of that one.
What a race.
What a race.
What a day.
Yeah, I was going to say, what a day's worth of... There was not even a couple laps really where there wasn't a point where you go, wow, that is some fantastic driving across all classes, all divisions, all drivers, all put on a great show for us. Well done, everyone, for that. Wilton Mill Kart Club once again delivering some fantastic action.
Absolutely, it always delivers, and it's always fantastic to be able to come and see the racing, because yeah, oh, here we go. Andrew Mather's favourite thing, the bumper check.
Bit more bumper checking.
Yeah.
Of course, this is a bit of a kind of denouement to the action, maybe, as we look at some bumper,
yes.
But it's certainly not the last of the Wilton Mill action. Upcoming next couple of weeks, August 7th through to 9th. British Kart Champs are here.
I'll be here as well.
Lovely.
Yes,
lovely.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that should be a very enjoyable day indeed. Some familiar names from the club should be present there, so I'll definitely make sure to tune into that one.
Yeah, no, it should be an interesting one. Obviously, we've got Kart Masters up next week. Obviously, it's a massive event for all these drivers that are going to be taking part in that. And then, yeah, British Championships here at Wilton Mill. So we've got a good couple of weeks of racing. We've also got next up on Slipstream is Super 1 on Saturday next week as well. So for those Slipstream members with your Slipstream passes, you can see all the action, including the finals, next week. We've also still got Dunk as well live for the Rotax Festival. I stuck my head in at the production a bit earlier on, and it looked really, really good. Obviously, I didn't want to tell you to go and watch it because this racing was, you know, I wanted you to watch this for me first. But now that we're kind of done, you can possibly go over and watch the Rotax Festival, give those guys some love over there. Yeah,
certainly plenty of action both from Wilton Mill and from Slipstream as well. Big thank you for tuning in and showing your support in the way that you do, and if you're watching maybe a week later, thank you for coming back and watching as well. It's all much appreciated. One final big thank you to all the drivers there, all the guys behind the scenes, the camera ops, all the people at Alpha Live, all the stewards, all the marshals, etc. Everyone, and the parents as well. Big shout out to the parents for supporting their drivers and for everyone taking part in the racing. That's it from us, though, here at Wilton Mill Kart Club for round 5. Another fantastic day. It's been an absolute pleasure to be alongside you in the comms box, Kieran, Mogg.
Same to you. Thank you very much. I think it's our first time commentating together as well, isn't it?
It is indeed, and maybe next time you'll have a moustache.
Possibly not. And that is the final mention of it today.
Had to get one last one in there.
Never mind. Well, yes, thank you very much as well. Obviously, I know you said all the thank yous, but I want to say a thank you to everyone as well for making this all possible. It's fantastic. Look at how dark it's going now with the clouds that are coming out. So I think it's good to end it here. Thank you very much for watching, and it really does mean a lot. We will see you next time on Slipstream.